Washington Nationals. Red Sox on Sirius 106, XM 179, and Internet 843. Nationals on Internet 869. 4:10 p.m. Tampa Bay Rays taking the New York Yankees. Rays on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 866. Yankees on Internet 858. 4:10 p.m. Miami Marlins taking the Philadelphia Phillies. Marlins on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 854. Phillies on Internet 860. 6:10 p.m. Detroit Tigers taking the Houston Astros. Tigers on Sirius 138, XM 182, and Internet 849. Astros on Internet 850. 7:10 p.m. Chicago White Sox face the Cleveland Guardians. White Sox on Sirius 139, XM 183, and Internet 845. Guardians on Internet 847. 7:15 p.m. Milwaukee Brewers take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Brewers on Sirius 160, XM 184, and Internet 855. Cardinals on Internet 865. 7:15 p.m. San Francisco Giants taking the Cincinnati Reds. Giants on Sirius 161, XM 185, and Internet 863. Reds on Internet 846. 8:10 p.m. Colorado Rockies taking the Texas Rangers. Rockies on Sirius 146, XM 186, and Internet 848. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish Street on Sirius 162, XM 187, and Internet 870. 8:40 p.m. San Diego Padres taking the LA Dodgers. Padres on Sirius 113, XM 188, and Internet 864. Dodgers on Internet 853. National Feed on Internet channel 871. 9:30 p.m. LA Angels taking the Kansas City Royals. Angels on Sirius 111, XM 189, and Internet 852. Royals on Internet 851. 9:40 p.m. Seattle Mariners taking the Oakland A's. Mariners on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 864. A's on Internet 859. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Saturday, May the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 3:07 p.m. Toronto Blue Jays taking the Minnesota Twins. Blue Jays on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 868. Twins on Internet 856. 4:05 p.m. Baltimore Orioles taking the Arizona Diamondbacks. Orioles on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 842. Diamondbacks on Internet 840. National Feed on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 964. 4:05 p.m. Pittsburgh Pirates taking the Chicago Cubs. Pirates on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 861. Cubs on Internet 844. 4:10 p.m. New York Mets taking the Atlanta Braves. Mets on Sirius 137, XM 181, and Internet 857. Braves on Internet 841. 4:10 p.m. Boston Red Sox taking the Washington Nationals. Red Sox on Sirius 106, XM 179, and Internet 843. Nationals on Internet 869. 4:10 p.m. Tampa Bay Rays taking the New York Yankees. Rays on Sirius and XM channel 89, Internet 866. Yankees on Internet 858. 4:10 p.m. Miami Marlins taking the Philadelphia Phillies. Marlins on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 854. Phillies on Internet 860. 6:10 p.m. Detroit Tigers taking the Houston Astros. Tigers on Sirius 138, XM 182, and Internet 849. Astros on Internet 850.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
Eduardo Perez was on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio talking about the Philadelphia Phillies and their success so far this season.
Daily NBA fantasy. Track your picks on Elite Sports, Game Time, and so much more.
I don't play fantasy sports to make trades. I play fantasy sports to win.
They are a slug-type team, and
Channel 87
that's the way
and on the
they're
all-new
built.
Sirius
Does it
XM
make
app.
me nervous now that they're going to lose Trey Turner for 6 weeks? If you're a Philly fan, this guy sort of bounces back quickly. I think that's 6 to be safe, to be on the safe side here and not try to rush him. They're going to need Nick Castellanos. The home run he
Welcome
hit,
back, everybody, to RotoWire
another
Fantasy
3-run
Sports.
homer back-to-back
Today,
days.
Eric Holzerman
But when he hits
and
it to left
Todd
center
Zola
field,
wrapping up our
if you're
tour
an opposing
of the
team, I'm
afternoon
sorry.
MLB.
This guy
that's
gets
set
locked
to
in.
get underway
He gets locked in with
just
that.
a few minutes.
You let it ride. You let it ride in a major way.
In the 4 o'clock
J.T.
Eastern
Realmuto
hour.
getting on twice with 2 hits, a double and a single, working counts as well. The day before on Sunday, he got 2 infield hits. No other catcher in the league
Christian Scott
gets those 2 infield hits that J.T. Realmuto gets. This team is now raising a lot of eyebrows in this division.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business. Covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio. SiriusXM 86 and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Saturday, May the 11th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 3:07 p.m. Toronto Blue Jays take on the Minnesota Twins. Blue Jays on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 868. Twins on Internet 856. 4:05 p.m. Baltimore Orioles take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Orioles on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 842. Diamondbacks on Internet 840. National feed on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 964. 4:05 p.m. Pittsburgh Pirates take on the Chicago Cubs. Pirates on Sirius 211, XM 178, and Internet 861. Cubs on Internet 844. 4:10 p.m. New York Mets take on the Atlanta Braves. Mets on Sirius 137, XM 181, and Internet 857. Braves on Internet 841. 4:10 p.m. Boston Red Sox take on the Washington Nationals. Red Sox on Sirius 106, XM 179, and Internet 843. Nationals on Internet 869. 4:10.
Major League Baseball play-by-play is now on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game?
Why do I love calling this game?
You know, it sounds dumb,
it's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet.
Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
Midwest bias here. Anytime something good happens in Chicago,
there's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
It's true.
Good for the game.
The way leather hits dirt.
To get the game more popularized and more.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
Sticking with Christian Scott, there's an interesting note on him today that he doesn't have a hard innings count this season, even though he's never thrown more than 87 and 2/3 innings in a season dating back to his college days. He was actually a reliever in college for as much, if not all his time there. So that's interesting because certainly you'd expect there to be some sort of innings cap, and I don't totally know how to read this news. Is this saying that, yeah, he's going to have one, we're just not going to tell you what it is? That's kind of more or less what I'd expect. It seems like from reading the quotes from Jeremy Hefner that maybe it's not going to be thought of as an innings cap, but the effect is going to be the same. They're just going to look at his biometric data, and when it looks like he needs to be shut down, they're going to shut him down. So maybe we should just not interpret this as anything too different than any other player. Just
coming in 5.
Get ready to play. We don't always get explicit plans like this from the team.
And anytime you see biometric data, you've got to do it.
Major League Baseball play-by-play
one more time. Biometric
Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
One more game in the NASCAR hour. An AL East battle between Nestor Cortez and the Yankees and
We're back on the track.
Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway.
On
Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Right there, Nestor Cortez
get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the Sirius XM app.
Right, and Cortez.
Golf in 2024 has been dominated by one man.
Scotty Scheffler
is the Masters champion. The season's second major championship has the world's best players trying to win the Wanamaker Trophy.
Is the winner of the 105th PGA Championship.
And you can hear all the action on Sirius XM. PGA Championship Radio returns next week with play-by-play from Valhalla Golf Club, starting next Thursday on Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
While you're listening to this game on Sirius XM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125.
Heavy juice to the under. Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins.
Last year,
if you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159.
The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
25.6% strikeout rate through 7 starts.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait shallow leagues where you might still be out there.
Share the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation, I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888 Mad Dog 6. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the Sirius XM app.
After injuries caused Brooks Koepka to wonder whether he could ever be healthy enough to win another major, that question was answered at the 2023 PGA Championship.
Koepka taps in for par. Brooks Koepka is the winner. Whatever happens, very excited for Paul Skeens. Thank you, listeners, for sticking around. And
his fifth major title came in a two-shot win over Victor Holland. Listen to the 106th PGA Championship beginning May 13th on SiriusXM Channel 92 and on the all-new
Here's what we're talking about on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio.
You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89.
Especially in the
opinions,
NBA,
passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus
try to
interviews with
get
players,
that line
managers,
right
executives,
out,
and much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM
Fantasy Sports Radio,
and on the SiriusXM app.
Yo, what's cracking all you fantasy sports players out there? This your homie Ice, and you're listening to the channel where fantasy meets reality. SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Authentically Italian.
This is the SiriusXM Sports Update.
After a Game 1 blowout loss to the Thunder at the NBA's Western Conference semifinals, the Mavericks responded in Game 2, winning 119-110 in OKC. A big reason why, Luka Doncic recorded 29 points with 10 rebounds and 7 assists. Former star Tim Hardaway Sr. taking notice, telling SiriusXM NBA Radio he liked how Doncic controlled the tempo.
The thing I like about his game was he, instead of holding the ball a lot, over dribbling, Luka got the ball to people in rhythm right when he needed to. When it came to double team, it was out of his hands.
At the bottom of the hour, the Mavericks host the Thunder with the series even at 1 then, 8:30
on
Eastern.
the winning track this afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody.
Tied that series at 1 in a convincing way Thursday, dominating Game 2 of a 118-94 victory in Boston. You can tune in
Tom Young and
XM NBA Radio Channel 6. Stanley Cup playoffs, the Rangers can go 8-0 in the playoffs as they try to sweep the Hurricanes on the road at 7 Eastern. Each game of the series has been decided by a goal. After it's the Stars and Avalanche in Denver at 10 Eastern, the teams split the first two in Dallas. These broadcasts can be heard on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio Channel 91. Baseball about an hour from the debut of last year's top overall draft pick Pirates pitching prospect Paul Skeens, who gets the ball at PNC Park against the Cubs. Skeens had a .99 ERA and 7 starts at AAA Indianapolis with 45 strikeouts and just over 20.
Just a half game out of first in the AL Central. It's the Nationals and Blue Jays. The first pitch right around the corner. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
this is Alexa. Did you know you can listen to this game on devices with Amazon Alexa? Download the SiriusXM app, then tell me to play the Blue Jays on SiriusXM.
Net Radio Network.
And another strikeout for Kevin Gausman as he got Garcia to go after that splitter. Back-to-back Ks in this inning. Let's see what he brings right here with, again, the count at 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got called a chase after that one. 3-2 pitch, and it's in for a strike. They caught Senzel looking, and Gausman has been delivering. So again, that was the last outing for Kevin Gausman. That was against the Nationals. See, I had Nationals on my mind so much in the intro. I had my Ron Burgundy moment. You slap something under my nose and it says Nationals. I don't care if there are Minnesota Twins out on the field. I'm still talking Nationals. But he was, Kevin Gausman, certainly outstanding in his last outing. Again, 5 1/3 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts against Washington, and now Kevin Gausman will hope to carry some of that momentum into this ballgame this afternoon against the Minnesota Twins as the Blue Jays look to get back on the winning track. The Bet365 standings, though, before we get to anything else, at Bet365 you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. The AL East looks the same as it has for a while now. Baltimore sits on top at 25-12. The Yankees sitting in second. Boston right there in the middle with a .500 record of 19-19. Tampa at 19-20. And the Blue Jays down in the bottom of the East at 17-21 as they get set for first pitch against Minnesota. Let's get the starting lineups with Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Eric. Leading off for the Minnesota Twins and playing second base is Quebec native Eddie Julien. Trevor Larnach will DH and bat second. Behind the dish, batting third will be Ryan Jeffers. Max Kepler will clean up and play right field. At shortstop, batting fifth will be Carlos Correa. Alex Kirilloff will bat sixth and play left field. In center will be Willie Castro. He'll hit seventh. At first base, batting eighth will be Carlos Santana. And batting ninth, playing third base, is Jose Miranda. On the mound is former Jays farmhand Simeon Woods Richardson. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off and playing left field is Davis Schneider. Playing center field and batting second will be Dalton Varsho. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will bat third and play first base. DHing is Justin Turner. He'll bat in the cleanup spot. Behind the dish, batting fifth will be Danny Jansen. Batting sixth and playing shortstop is Bo Bichette. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa will bat seventh and play second base. In right field is Kevin Biggio. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth, playing third base, is Ernie Clement. On the mound is righty Kevin Gausman.
So Gausman warming up right now. We're probably less than a minute away, maybe 30 seconds away from the first pitch. And Chris, what do you think of this one today with Gausman on the mound? He got knocked around quite a bit by the Twins last year during the regular season, was decent in the playoffs, but he had his issues against this lineup.
Well, I'm not looking at last year. I'm looking at this year. He's given up 1 earned run in his last 19 innings pitched. Kevin Gausman is on a roll right now, and the reason for that is that split finger. He's throwing it down in the zone, and it's breaking out of the zone. When he struggled early on in the season, outside of that velo being down, it was more of a floating split finger. It didn't have the action to it that it does now. And when Kevin Gausman's splitter has that action, it's unhittable.
So we are getting set to begin as Eddie Julien, as Chris mentioned already, the Canadian from Quebec, steps into the batter's box. The left-handed hitting Julien will get set to face Kevin Gausman on a Saturday afternoon in Toronto. Overcast day, some scattered showers. The roof is closed. Can't wait till this thing gets cracked back. Hopefully the weather starts turning a little bit. And we are underway from Rogers Center. The first pitch at 3:07, just outside. It's a 1-0 count. Julien batting .205 this season. The right-hander, of course, Gausman delivers. And Julien sends it into center field. It's a base hit. Varsho comes in and grabs it in center. He will toss it in, and the Minnesota Twins have the leadoff man on to start this ball game.
Well, Julien just did a good job of just hitting that where that ball was pitched. Gausman throws a fastball right down the middle, kind of tails away to the outer third, but Julien does a good job just hitting that baseball right back up the middle. Kind of off the end of the bat, but got enough of it to get it into center field.
That brings up the DH, another left-handed hitting Batter for Gausman to face, Trevor Larnach. And the first pitch outside again. It's a 1-0 count to Larnach. Batting .345 on the season. He's got 3 home runs and 11 runs batted in. Julian with the lead out at first. Guerrero holds him on. The 1-0 pitch, high and outside, 2-0.
And a lot like Yusei Kikuchi last night, I think one of the biggest things for Kevin Gausman is getting ahead early in the count, throwing strike one. Then he can throw that split, he can throw that slider, and expand the zone.
Gausman looks over at first, delivers. That one fouled off down the third base side, about 25-30 rows deep. It's now a 2-1 count to Larnach. I mentioned batting .345 on the season. But over those last 12 games, that average even higher at .366. So certainly swinging a hot stick. And he's ahead in the count now. Up on Gausman again, 2-1. Julian out at first. Gausman delivers that one down Main Street for a strike, and now it's 2-2.
And early on, you're seeing good velo from Kevin Gausman. That last fastball was 95 miles an hour.
Crowd starting to buzz a little bit here right now with this 2-2 count. Again, Vladdy holding Julian on at first. Gausman whips one over, trying to keep him honest, Julian, who dives back into the bag. And Vladdy tosses back to Kevin Gausman. Rubs that baseball in his hands for a moment and steps back onto the rubber. The 2-2 count to Trevor Larnach. And now Larnach calls for time and steps out of the box. The Jays infield has shifted. Bichette playing pretty much behind second base, as Ernie Clement, the third baseman, in the middle of the field where the shortstop would normally be. And the 2-2 pitch just missing a little bit low, maybe a little bit outside. John Schneider doesn't like that call. Home plate umpire Phil Cuzzy. Schneider already kind of jawing at him here in the first inning.
Well, Kevin Gausman, as soon as he threw that pitch and realized that it wasn't going to be called a strike, he was asking where that pitch was. Phil Cuzzy shaking his head.
Gausman delivers on the 3-2 strikeout, swing and a miss as Larnach sits down.
And that's the split finger that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 games from Kevin Gausman that's so effective. It looks like a strike out of the hands, and then it just dips out of the strike zone. Larnach swings right over it.
So now 1 down as the catcher Ryan Jeffers comes to the plate. 29 runs batted in on the season, 8 home runs. The right-handed hitting catcher for Minnesota. Gausman delivers. And it's a strike on a fastball at 95, an 0-1 count.
There's a big hole on the right side of the infield. Vlad is holding on Julian at first base. He does have 3 stolen bases, and IKF is shaded towards second, almost up the middle.
Julian at first got on with a leadoff base hit up the middle. Doesn't seem to be going anywhere yet. Does have 3 stolen bases on the season, and that pitch well outside from Gausman. It's a 1-1 count.
Eric, do you still like the mustache on Kevin Gausman?
I mean, you said it off the top. As long as he's pitching the way he is, keep that thing growing.
You can do whatever you want as long as you're pitching well. That's my rule.
Although if it's a team-wide thing, it hasn't exactly resulted in a lot of wins for the Jays, so maybe they got to go full beard or something. The 1-1 count missing on a 4-seam fastball. It's now 2-1. Gausman up to 11 pitches in this top of the first inning. Jeffers batting .296 on the season, but .345 over his last 17 games. The 2-1 pitch, he fouls it off up and over the Twins dugout towards the concourse area, and it's now a 2-2 count. With Eddie Julian still at first base. Hasn't really shown any signs of wanting to take off yet. Gausman looks over his shoulder for a moment, and now he whips one over. Nice snag by Vladdy down in the dirt a little bit as Julian dives back into the bag.
And Jeffers has a really odd 2-strike approach. He chokes up on the bat quite a bit and kind of widens his his feet. You don't see many power hitters do that with 2 strikes.
The 2-2 pitch from Gausman coming in one moment, and here it is. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kevin Gausman.
Another good split finger. Looks like a fastball. Looks like a strike out of the hand. And then drops out of that strike zone. Kevin Gausman clearly has the feel for it right now.
And the beefy part of the lineup continues for the Twins. The 2, 3, 4 hitters all hitting right around 300 plus. I mean, Jeffers at 296, the lowest one. This brings up Max Kepler hitting 324 on the season, the right fielder, and another left-handed swing for Kevin Gausman to deal with, and he gets ahead in the count 0-1 on the splitter at 86.
If I'm Kevin Gausman to Max Kepler, I'm not falling in love with that split finger. You have to show a fastball up, at least at the hands.
The 0-1 just outside. It's 1-1. First inning brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jay fans since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. The 1-1. Gausman again looks over at first. Stares in now. And delivers a swing, and Kepler got a piece of that one. It's a 1-2 count.
That's 3 split fingers in a row to Max Kepler. I would imagine he wouldn't go 4 in a row. But I've also been wrong during this at-bat, so.
Nobody's counting. Nobody's counting. We're not going to track that, Chris. So back-to-back strikeouts for Kevin Gausman. Can he make it 3 in a row and sit down Kepler? Now he steps off the mound. Julian dove back into the bag. And Gausman will regather himself and reset here. Top of the first, no score. We got underway less than 10 minutes ago. And after giving up a leadoff hit to the Twins, Kevin Gausman is trying to strike out the side. Whips one over to first, diving back into the bag again. Julian just ahead of the tag. So certainly the Blue Jays are concerned about Julian over there. Again, 3 stolen bases on the season for the Canadian, Edouard Julien. Jays in the baby blues today. Gausman with the pitch. And a little check swing from Kepler. And it heads towards third base and way deep out towards short was Ernie Clement. No chance to make a play on that one. And a little excuse me infield single for Max Kepler.
That's just tough luck for Kevin Gausman and the Blue Jays. A very good fastball. Almost on the black on the outer part of that plate. Max Kepler with the little excuse me swing. And he gets a single, moving up Eddie Julien to second base, and now he has to face Carlos Correa.
Twins coming into this ball game hitting .231 as a team with runners in scoring position down towards the bottom third, or in the bottom third of the American League, 11th overall. They've got a man out on second right now in Julien, and now Kepler at first. 2 on for Correa. First pitch, he didn't offer at it. He thought maybe it was a little high, but it was right there in the strike zone, and it's an 0-1 count. Gausman approaching 20 pitches now. Correa in 21 games this season with a couple of home runs. And he's knocked in 9. Second pitch comes in, and it's a strike as well. A splitter at 87. Now Gausman ahead in the count, 0-2.
Yeah, Carlos Correa didn't like that call. He kind of tilted his head, disagreeing with Phil Cuzzy, but that was a strike.
Looking over at second to Julien. Kevin Gausman now turns, fires the 0-2 pitch down in the dirt. Nice block by Jansen. And now 1-2. Again, the crowd's starting to get amped up a little bit more here in the top of the first with no score. Minnesota's got 2 on with 2 out. Gausman steps back onto the rubber. Now Correa stands out of the box for a moment. And now steps back in to get set. Gausman stretches both arms above his head, adjusts his cap. Takes a look back at second at Julian. And now delivers the 1-2. And a broken bat up the middle. Base hit. And coming in to grab it is Varsho, and he's not going to throw it into home as Julian turns the corner and scores, and Minnesota cashes in. They lead 1-0 here in the first.
And another good pitch from Kevin Gausman, exploding Carlos Correa's bat. That bat went all the way past third base. A good four-seamer in on the hands. And Carlos Correa didn't even know where that ball was when he hit it. Just loops it in front of Dalton Varsho in center field, and Twins are up 1-0.
You think Varsho had to play at the plate or not?
No. It's good to keep that runner at second base. If he throws to home plate, there's a runner on third now.
Yep.
And Carlos Correa possibly goes to second base.
So Alex Kirilloff comes to the plate now. Another left-handed bat. 218 on the season. 14 runs batted in. He's got at least one out there in scoring position right now. Out on second, but Minnesota again with first and second. With 2 out. Gausman again checking out second base. That's Max Kepler out there. The pitch in for a strike as well, and another 0-2 count. Last 2 batters have both reached, and Gausman has been ahead in the count against both of them. And now again for a third time against Kirilloff.
Well, he's made some good pitches over the last 2 batters. He's just been extremely unlucky.
The left fielder, Kirilloff, again, another left-handed bat. Minnesota with 4 lefties in the lineup today, including 2 switch hitters. They're trying to stack it against Kevin Gausman. The 0-2, and that one sent into left field on another base hit, and it's past the glove of Davis Schneider. It took a skip and went all the way to the wall, picked up by Varsho. That clears the bases as around to third, standing up is Kirilloff.
Well, as a left fielder with runners specifically on base, you have to keep that ball in front of you. I know Davis Schneider wanted to throw Max Kepler out at home plate, but you have to keep that ball in front of you. That's priority number 1. And he kind of just olays this. Might have skipped to the left at the last moment, but you could see the disappointment on Schneider's face. You have to keep that ball in front of you.
So now Minnesota has jumped out to a 3-0 lead here in the top of the first, and all of the damage being done with 2 out. And again now 3 straight batters down in the count. Gausman with 2 strikes against the last 3 batters, and they've all come through. Willie Castro, the center fielder, now steps in for Minnesota with a man on third. They look to keep this first inning rally going, and he fouls off the first pitch. It's 0-1.
Well, that last pitch to Alex Kirilloff was way too good. Ahead in the count like that, you have to expand the zone. Either elevate that fastball or bury that split finger, and he just threw that fastball kind of to the outer third, but too fat, and Alex Kirilloff just drilled it into left field.
Castro down 0-1, and he breaks his bat with a blooper out to second. It's grabbed by IKF, and the Blue Jays finally retire the Twins, but not before Minnesota gets 3. Jays bats will have work to do when we come back. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
The 0-2 pitch. Fastball, strike three looking.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with you as we get set for the bottom of the first. Simeon Woods Richardson on the mound for Minnesota. And the first pitch down low towards the dirt to Davis Schneider. It's a 1-0 count with Schneider ahead on that first pitch. The second one comes in, and it's a fastball from Woods Richardson at 92. It's a 2-0 count. Don't check that 1-1. They're going to say that it caught the bottom edge. Schneider trying to shake free from the miscue he had moments ago out in left field in the top of the first, where the ball got by him and got to the wall, allowing 2 runs to score and pushing Minnesota lead up to 3-0. The 2-1 count to Schneider. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2.
And Simeon Woods Richardson features a four-seam fastball that he throws 39% of the time, probably about 92 to 94 miles an hour, a slider, a changeup, and a curveball.
And Schneider just swung and missed on another fastball, the four-seamer that you were just talking about. Schneider sits down. 1 down for the Jays as Varsho comes to the plate.
Well, that fastball from Woods Richardson was right down the middle, and Davis Schneider swings through it. Obviously, he was expecting something a little bit off speed, but Woods Richardson sneaks that fastball right by him.
Varsho steps into the box and takes a first strike. It's 0-1. One of only 2 left-handed bats in the starting lineup for the Jays today. The center fielder looks at the second pitch. Outside, it's 1-1. George Springer, as Chris mentioned off the top, in case you're just tuning in, not feeling well again today, as was the case last night. But before the game, John Schneider did say that he had hoped that Springer and or Kevin Kiermaier could be available later in the game to come off the bench if necessary. It's a 2-1 count now. Woods Richardson delivers to Varsho, fouls one back. It's heading right towards us, but about 20 feet below, maybe 30.
Eric, did you get scared?
Not at all. Did you see? I didn't even
my heart rate started to elevate.
I got you. Don't worry. Plus, we got Show Ali here today as well. So 6 arms is better than 4.
I don't want to be catching that with my bare hands. That's for sure.
So after fouling that one off towards us, the 2-2 pitch, no good. And it's now a 3-2 count to Varsho, who slaps one out to second, picked up by Julian, whips it over to first to Santana, and there are 2 down.
And you can tell right away that Simeon Woods Richardson won't overpower you, but he knows how to pitch. He has a good feel for all 4 of his pitches. The slider he throws 27% of the time, and that good changeup, it's almost like a split finger, but he calls it a changeup at 25% of the time. He's a good young player.
Vladdy Guerrero now steps into the box for the Jays with 2 down in the bottom of the first and Toronto trailing 3-0. Guerrero has the average up to 253 on the season. Certainly has been playing and hitting a lot better over the last week plus. And that second pitch coming in a little bit inside. It's now a 2-0 count. 2 more hits last night for Vladdy. And he smacked both of his hits real hard. The 2-0 pitch. And Guerrero fouls one way up and over high over the Twins dugout. About 20, 25 rows deep. There's a fan in the stands down there that has a big Vladdy fathead, one of those cardboard cutouts, and he painted on eye black under Vladdy's eyes.
It's like college basketball down there.
Yeah.
Isn't that a big college basketball thing?
Yeah, it is. The 3-1 pitch to Guerrero, and he smacks one up the middle, and it will get through into center field, picked up by Castro, and Guerrero gets on with 2 out.
And Vlad probably shouldn't have swung at that pitch. It was a 3-1 count, a fastball that was elevated on the outside part of the plate. He can't really do anything with it, but that's the only thing he can do. He swings at it, and he doesn't try to do too much with it, just hits it right back up the middle. And I think that's another sign that Vlad is on track right now and really seeing the ball well.
Justin Turner, the cleanup hitter, steps in now for Toronto. The DH today takes a first pitch strike on another four-seamer from Woods Richardson. It's 0-1.
And Vlad's now hitting .259.
Which is just below Justin Turner, who just about a week and a half ago was hitting right around 300, and he has dipped down to .261. They could certainly use a big swing right here from Turner. He fouls one off down the third base side, and he's down in the count 0-2.
And I know .259 doesn't sound like much, but over his last 7 games, he's now hitting .357.
Vladdy on first, the man that Chris was just talking about, as Turner now stands in with the 0-2 count. Woods Richardson missing high and outside. It's 1-2. Chris LaRue, Eric Smith with you from the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Show Ali, our host, in the booth today as well, with the Blue Jays trailing 3-0 in the bottom of the first. The 1-2 pitch. And Turner gets underneath one, sends it out to left field. Back on the track underneath it and making the grab is Alex Kirilloff, and that will retire the side. So the Blue Jays still trail 3-0 as we head to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are on Sirius XM.
Rebound scores! Connor McDavid!
Hear every game, including the hometown broadcasts on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Shot go wide off the inboard, played off on Stamkos, back it up! What a save, Bobrovsky!
Which team will drink from the cup?
It's over! The Stars have dethroned the Knights in 7!
Check out the daily discussion on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' 3rd national title.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
At Radio Network.
Welcome back. Second inning with Minnesota leading Toronto 3-0. Carlos Santana steps in now, the number 8 hitter for the Twins. He will lead off this second inning. Kevin Gausman and the Jays trailing 3-0 after giving up 3, obviously, in the first inning. This one fouled off 0-1. Second inning is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+. Play responsibly. Ontario only. Gausman stares in at Jansen. The 0-1 pitch. Outside and low. It's now 1-1.
Speaking of betting, that Jays Care 50-50 is now $271,317.
Okay.
I don't know when the winner gets announced for that, but
I think it's going to be a while because this is just a mini 3-game homestand, right? Got to tack on a few more. This one coming up towards us again. a long looper. That one probably like 50, 60 feet below us, but it was right on line. Chris under the desk, and we'll try and pry him back out here for the 1-2 count.
We need one of those long fishing nets.
Yes. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt. It's now 2-2. Nice job there by Santana, showing some patience. The first baseman with 5 home runs on the season, 15 runs batted in, but batting only 194. The 2-2. And that one smacked to center towards right center on the run. Varsho diving on the track and can't get to it. Great effort to sell out for that one, but couldn't make the grab. And now standing on second is Carlos Santana as Minnesota again puts on the leadoff hitter.
And again, Kevin Gausman has 2 strikes on a batter and he loses them. He throws a pitch that is too hittable, in my opinion. Carlos Santana just sticks the bat out and drills a good line drive into the gap in left center. Dalton Varsho doing everything he can, diving for that ball. Probably about 2 or 3 feet from him. But Kevin Gausman needs to bury something or elevate a fastball when he has 2 strikes on him.
Jose Miranda comes to the plate now, the number 9 hitter for the Twins. And the first pitch outside, 1-0 to the third baseman, Miranda. Blue Jays trailing 3-0. Minnesota getting 3 runs with 2 outs in the first inning of this ballgame. They're looking to tack on more right now. And Miranda rips one down the left field line, and it ricochets from one section to another section, 2 over. Hopefully that wasn't off somebody's head.
Well, the fans are clapping, so I'm assuming that nobody's hurt. Usually when somebody's hurt, everybody's quiet. Nobody's clapping.
Unless it's somebody you don't like. Swing and a miss on the 1-1. It's now 1-2. I'm joking, Tom. Tom Young, don't worry. I'm joking, folks. Don't send me the hate mail. So again, Gausman ahead in the count at 1-2. We'll see what he can come up with here as he tries to record the first out of the inning. Looking back at second, the 1-2 pitch. Fouled off again by Miranda. We'll do it again.
And that was a good 1-2 pitch right there. A fastball that was elevated at 97 out of the strike zone. Miranda was either going to pop that up or swing through it, and he kind of just fouled it back. Good pitch from Kevin Gausman.
Gausman's already thrown 35 pitches, and we're just at the second batter of the second inning. That one down in the dirt. Nice block there by Jansen. Gausman missing on the splitter, clocked at 90. It's a 2-2 count. Blue Jays gave up only 3 in the game last night, but lost 3-2. They've given up 3 already. They all came in the first inning as Kevin Gausman stares in now on the 2-2 pitch. Inside, it's now 3-2. Gausman thought that might have caught the edge.
Well, I think the way Danny Jansen caught it, he caught it in the strike zone and kind of brought his glove down towards the dirt. I think he took that strike away from Kevin Gausman.
The 3-2 pitch. And a check swing. And they're going to say he went. A late call, but perhaps the correct call. You'll take it and run if you're a Blue Jay fan. Alex Tossi down at first base says, yes, indeed. Miranda went at that one, so give the strikeout to Kevin Gausman.
Well, Jose Miranda didn't like that call. We're about to see the replay here. And yes, he did go. Miranda was incorrect. Good call by the first base umpire.
To the top of the order we go. The Canadian Eddie Julien stands in with a runner in scoring position. Santana out on second, and Gausman comes high and inside. It's a 1-0 count. Julien got on to start the ball game, ended up scoring Minnesota's first run as well.
Edward Julien only hitting .212, but already has 7 homers for the Twins.
Gausman checking out second base. Bichette kind of sneaking in behind Santana as Julien fouls that one off down into the dirt right behind the plate. It's a 1-1 count. Now, you mentioned the 7 home runs for Julien. There's a bunch of home runs scattered throughout this Minnesota lineup. Kind of threats just about everywhere. Gausman again looking back at second, turns and fires to Jansen on the 1-1. And they're going to say low again, catching the bottom edge of the zone, maybe, but a 2-1 count. The 2-1 down in the dirt. Another nice block from Jansen. He's been busy already today. It's now 3-1. There's only one out here in the second inning.
And Edward Julian was a 2019 18th rounder, 539th overall out of Auburn. It's tough to make the big leagues as an 18th rounder. You're not given many chances, but when you are given a chance in the minor leagues,
the 3-1 pitch is good.
You better take advantage of it, and he did all throughout the minor leagues. He just hit, and then eventually he got called up, and now he's obviously showing that he is a big leaguer.
He steps back into the box with the count now standing at 3-2. With a runner in scoring position, Santana out at second after starting this inning with a double, and Gausman missed outside and low against Julian. And now the Blue Jays have to dig in with 2 on, and Trevor Larnach coming to the plate.
I don't mind that walk right there. That was a good pitch from Kevin Gausman, a 3-2 pitch. A split finger that was down in the strike zone. Julian could have swung at it, could have offered, but didn't. It was a good take by him. And you did have that open base at first base. Now runners at first and second. You set up the double play. A lot of things going on.
Trevor Larnach struck out in his first at-bat in the first inning, swing and a miss at the first one, and Gausman gets ahead on the splitter. Santana at second, Julian now at first after the walk moments ago. Again, Gausman checking out second. Bichette kind of creeping in behind Santana. Gausman delivers to Larnach on the 0-1, and it's in for a strike. Caught that inside edge. High in the strike zone, but definitely there on the fastball. Clocked at 97, and Gausman again ahead 0-2. Larnach now asking for time and steps out of the box to gather himself.
The sequence so far has been perfect to Larnach. Split finger down in the zone that he swung through, and then a good fastball up near the hands that he took for a strike. Now they can basically do whatever they want.
And Larnach rips one past Bo Bichette and into left center, and an RBI single for Trevor Larnach.
And I can guarantee that they didn't want to do that. Kevin Gausman throws a fastball right down the middle to Larnach. Danny Jansen was set up and in. They were trying to go back up and in with that fastball, and Kevin Gausman just throws that thing right over the middle. Larnach does a good job hitting it where there isn't anybody playing, right to Bo Bichette's right, and the Twins go ahead 4-0.
So 3 in the first, 1 here in the second, but the rally could continue for Minnesota. They've got only 1 out with 2 on as Ryan Jeffers comes to the plate. Gausman to Jeffers, and missing high and inside. It's a 1-0 count. Julian now at second with Larnach at first. The number 3 hitter in the Minnesota lineup, Ryan Jeffers, ahead in the count 1-0. 8 home runs on the season. He's got 29 runs batted in. Slaps at the second pitch, fouls it off into the net just above the Minnesota dugout. It's a 1-1 count.
Ryan Jeffers is a big guy. He likes to get his arms extended, and that fastball right there kind of tied him up. 96 right on the hands. Good pitch from Kevin Gausman.
Gausman getting set now to deliver. The 1-1 pitch to Jeffers. Checks out second base, looks at Julian, now turns and fires, and comes inside. It's now 2-1. Jeffers, I mentioned, batting .296 on the season. Actually, it's dipped down a little bit now after striking out in his first at-bat. but he's one of the many hot hitters that the Twins have had this season, let alone over the last 18 games. I'm going to give you those numbers in a second as Gausman just came back with a sinker at 95 for a strike. It's now 2-2.
Well, Jeffers has 11 RBIs in May. That's tied for the most in Major League Baseball.
And again, 29 on the season. Minnesota 16-2 over the last 18 games, hitting .286 as a team. Gausman missing outside. It'll now be a 3-2 count as Gausman has gone over 50 pitches, 52 to be exact. And we're only through a third of an inning here in the second. 1 out, 2 on, 3-2 count to Jeffers. And he fouls one off to stay alive. We'll do it again.
And like you just said, Kevin Gausman is coming up against a very hot lineup. He's made some good pitches today, and the Minnesota Twins have fought them off and gotten some tough base hits. This is a tough lineup for Kevin Gausman. That's why he's thrown so many pitches.
The 3-2 is there. And Jeffers takes the slow walk back to the Twins dugout as he strikes out for the second time in the game, this time looking, and Gausman's trying to get the Blue Jays out of this second inning.
Perfectly executed pitch right there, down and away. That's about as good as it gets. 96 miles an hour from Kevin Gausman. Ryan Jeffers just walks back to that dugout.
Max Kepler coming back up now. The right fielder. 1 for 1 in the ball game with 2 on and 2 out. And another first pitch in for a strike from Kevin Gausman. The fastball at 96. Kepler again singling in the first and eventually scoring. Gausman looking out at Julian at second. Bichette kind of sneaking in behind. Gausman delivers on the 0-1. It's now 0-2. The sinker at 96 and well ahead in the count yet again. Can Gausman get the Blue Jays out of this? They trail 4-0 in the top of the second. The crowd's starting to buzz a little bit more. The 0-2, and it's fouled away over the Blue Jay dugout. We'll do it again.
And again, that fastball from Kevin Gausman was way too good. Danny Jansen was set up out of the zone, elevated, almost standing up. And Kevin Gausman threw that thing about knee-high down in the zone, and Max Kepler just missed it, just fouling it off. You have to expand the zone here if you're Kevin Gausman.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Gausman gets out of it again. So the Blue Jays give up one more run. They trail 4-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which Looney Dogger are you? The fork and knifer, splatterer, condiment queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's, every Tuesday home game.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Everywhere you look.
Hey, this is Eric Swanson. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Big time and in a small town.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Chris LaRue, Eric Smith with you, alongside host Show Ali as we begin the second inning. Blue Jays trailing 4-0. And the first pitch, good for a strike to Danny Jansen, down 0-1 in the count now. Simeon Woods Richardson delivers and gets another strike. It's now 0-2. The four-seam fastball clocked at 92. As Jansen now digs in. Missing outside, it's 1-2. Missing on that slider. Woods Richardson saw 4 batters in the first inning and looking to sit down Jansen, who slaps that one, sends it down the third base side foul. We'll do it again at 1-2. Jansen hitting check that, 286. I only wish he was hitting 386. 286 on the season for Jansen. Another one line foul down the third base side, about 20 rows deep, and we'll do it yet again at 1-2.
Danny Jansen's doing a good job of staying alive, fighting off some tough pitches during this at-bat. Eventually, Woods Richardson will throw him a mistake.
And Jansen gets underneath one, sends one deep to left field, but onto the track and making the grab is Alex Kirilloff. There's one down.
Hello. Now batting number 11, Bichette.
A great job there from our future announcer, presented by Rogers, 13-year-old Ethan from Toronto. As Ethan does indeed shout out Bo Bichette coming to the plate, batting 6th in the lineup again. And he kind of punches one towards the first base side, diving in foul territory, and just missing was Carlos Santana. And he looks to be shaken up a little bit as he gets up slowly and kind of adjusts his socks and pants as he rolled into the wall as well.
Well, that big man over there that just tumbled into the wall is 38 years old. He's been around a long time. For him to still be playing that hard tells you something about how tough he is. I'm 40. I would never do that, ever.
I know, you're ducking under the desk for foul balls. I know how you roll. Bichette swings at the second pitch from Woods Richardson and fouls that one off as well, so he's quickly down in the count, 0-2. Bichette hitting an even 200 on the season in the 6th spot right now. Fires one down the right field side, and it's going to go foul as well. Not a lot of foul territory down there now with the new Reynolds this year, but it hit against the wall down in that corner. So again, Bichette will have to dig in, down 0-2. The pitch. And that one down in the dirt, and man, oh man, did Woods Richardson take a lot off that one. A curveball at 76.
Yeah, he doesn't throw that thing very often, only 9% of the time, but it's 74 to 76 miles an hour, and it's a true 12-6 curveball.
And Bichette just got underneath one on the 1-2 pitch, rocks it deep and gone. Bo Bichette with a solo shot. Just his second home run of the season, but maybe that is what busts him out of his funk. He got underneath it and sent it at least 5-7 rows deep, just to the right of the Jays bullpen. And the Jays are on the board, trailing 4-1.
Well, that's got to feel good for Bo Bichette. That was just a hanging changeup from Woods Richardson, and Bo Bichette didn't miss it, hitting it about 20 rows back there in left field. He's been looking just a little bit better lately.
So Toronto getting on the board as Isaiah Kiner-Falefa steps up to the plate and quickly gets ahead in the count, 2-0.
And if the Blue Jays are going to get back in this game, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to slowly chip away at this lead.
Kiner-Falefa off the end of his bat. It dribbles in front of the plate. Coming in to grab it is Woods Richardson. He throws it to first on a bounce, and the Twins record the out. Tomorrow, Chris, is Super Sunday, and Jays Care will be drawing $1,000 prizes every half hour while the Blue Jays play ball. Plus, the grand prize will also be drawn tomorrow night, and it's already over $274,000. Visit BlueJays.com/5050 to get your tickets from Ontario or Nova Scotia. So now with 2 out, Kevin Bichette steps in.
It's not $3 million, but I would gladly take $274,000. I don't know about you. I don't know your financial situation, but
you remember I work in radio, right? I'll take that pot.
Isn't Ryan Fabro listening today?
I know he's here. I just don't know if he's listening.
Well, this is broadcast all over the stadium, so
that's true. And there's no point to deal with, so I can't split the pot with you. I need to take the full 274. The 2-1 count now to Kevin Bichette. Woods Richardson fires and delivers, missing outside 3-1. See if the Blue Jays can mount a little rally here in the bottom of the second, and Bichette gets on, so it could continue.
Now batting number 28, Ernie Clement.
Again, that is our future announcer presented by Rogers, 13-year-old Ethan from Toronto. He's been doing a solid job. Heck, keep him going if the Blue Jays are going to keep scoring. Toronto on the board, trailing 4-1 off the solo shot from Bo Bichette. First pitch from Woods Richardson, in for a strike on the slider. Ernie Clement down 0-1.
And again, there's a big hole on the right side of that infield. Carlos Santana holding on Kevin Bichette. Eddie Julien shaded towards second base.
And Clement swung at a pitch that came inside, slaps it out to short. And over to first, Carlos Correa makes the play, records the out, and the Blue Jays sit down. But they get one back, still trailing, though, down 4-1 as we head to the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He makes the catch, and the Blue Jays win the ball game.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We get set to start the third inning. The Blue Jays trailing the Twins 4-1. Carlos Correa steps in to lead things off for Minnesota. Toronto was down 4-0, but they got a solo shot from Bo Bichette in the bottom of the second. So again, trailing 4-1. Kevin Gausman still out on the bump and missing inside on the first pitch to Correa. It's 1-0.
I don't know if you noticed, but when Bo Bichette hit that home run, as soon as he saw that it was gone, he did a little subtle fist pump.
Well, rightfully so, I guess. He obviously has been scuffling this season, and as I said, maybe that's what kind of busts him out. The Blue Jays could certainly use that. You keep hoping for the offense to turn, and they'll need to today as they trail 4-1 in the third inning, top of the third, and Gausman has fallen well behind Carlos Correa, 3-0. Minnesota has had the leadoff man on in each of the first 2 innings, and they might be well on their way of doing so again right here. Gausman up to 61 pitches, looks in at Jansen and delivers the 3-0, and Correa gets underneath that one and sends one way high and up behind the Blue Jays dugout. And a fan, I don't know if he made the clean grab or it fell down just in front. That's one you don't want to catch. That thing was about a mile high before it finally came down.
There's no chance that you're making a clean grab on that one. That one, it was a skyscraper scraping the top of this ceiling here at Rogers Center.
The 3-1 pitch tried to come inside at Correa. He fouls it off down the third base side, and Gausman battling back now to a full count. Minnesota up 4-1 here in the top of the third inning. Gausman delivers, and they're going to say he missed that one low, and Gausman looks a little frustrated by that one.
And I think he's begging a little bit there. That was pretty obviously below that strike box. I don't love that pitch selection there. You fight back in the count. It's 3-2. Just throw a good fastball down in the zone. Let Carlos Correa put the bat on the ball, and now you've walked the leadoff hitter.
So Alex Kirilloff comes up. And Gausman comes back with a fastball on the first pitch. Clocked at 95. It's an 0-1 count. Kirilloff had a single in the first inning that scored 2 runners. That was the one that sent to left field and bounced past the glove of Schneider all the way to the wall. As Gausman delivers outside to Kirilloff, it's 1-1. With Correa now out at first base, all 3 innings thus far, Minnesota getting the leadoff man on. Gausman delivers the 1-1. Swing and a miss from Kirilloff, and again, ahead in the count, 1-2. Gausman off that 4-seam fastball. Correa has yet to register a stolen base this season, but certainly a threat. He's got that oven mitt right now on his left hand, protecting that hand in case he does ultimately have to slide in there at second or more. The 1-2 for Gausman coming in mere moments as he quickly looks over at first and now stares in at Jansen. And another swing and a miss will sit down Alex Kirilloff. There's 1 down.
And that's where he wanted that baseball last time he faced Kirilloff, a fastball that was elevated, and Kirilloff swings right underneath it. That's a good pitch. It looks like a hittable pitch. So good to the eye there in the box, and then you just can't get to it.
It's the 6th strikeout of the game for Gausman. We're only in the 3rd inning, and yet he trails 4-1. The first pitch to Willie Castro is good for a strike. Another 4-seam fastball, and Castro down 0-1.
Well, he has had a little bit of bad luck in this game, giving up a couple broken bat base hits. But at the same time, he's made a lot of fat pitches ahead in the count.
Second pitch missing outside on the splitter. It's 1-1. Castro, 269 on the season. He gets underneath one and rocks it quickly to right field, and it's going to go off the wall, high off the wall, and waiting for it to bounce, making the grab and tossing it back in, Kevin Biggio. And now Minnesota with runners at second and third with only 1 down here in the 3rd.
That was just a hanging split finger, and Willie Castro hits his 10th double of the season, just barely missing a home run. Sorry, that was a fastball. Willie Castro gets the head out and misses a home run by about 2 feet off the top of that wall in right field.
So Carlos Santana steps in now, the veteran first baseman, with 2 runners in scoring position, second and third, 1 down in the top of the third. First pitch from Gausman, low, and it's 1-0. Santana doubling back in the second inning in his first at bat.
And now the Blue Jays infield is all the way in, all 4 infielders, and you can bet that Carlos Santana, being the veteran that he is, knows that he has to get some loft into this hit. Put some to the outfield.
Gausman fires a fastball down. Well, I guess they call it a splitter, and it's 1-1. Santana, after getting that double in the second inning, has bumped his average up to 200 on the season. Of course, does have power with 5 home runs this season. Swing and a miss on the 1-1 pitch, and he's now down 1-2.
And now you have to make a good pitch. If I'm Kevin Gausman, I want to strike him out here. Throwing nothing in the strike zone.
Kevin Gausman at 74 pitches. And we're here in the third. Santana just rocked one to center field on the run. Varsho back, jumping, and it's gone. Right over the 400 mark in center field. It's a 3-run shot for Santana. And Minnesota has jumped out to a 7-1 lead in the third.
Well, that's the same thing that happened last time he faced Carlos Santana. He got ahead in the count, and he threw a fastball that was too hittable. And that one there was actually elevated out of the strike zone, but Carlos Santana kind of drops the head on it. And I don't know how he hit that over that center field wall, but he's been a good hitter for a long time. He figured out a way right there, and it's 7-1 Minnesota.
And there's still only 1 out here in the third. Gausman fires a pitch, swing and a miss for Miranda. The third baseman for Minnesota, the number 9 hitter, struck out in his first at bat last inning, and he's now down 0-1 in the count. Gausman turns, fires, and misses low and outside. It's 1-1.
That home run by Carlos Santana was about letter high. A pitch that he theoretically shouldn't hit out of the ballpark, but he just did a good job of making good, solid contact.
And we've seen a couple of angles on the replay now. It just cleared the wall, like just. And Varsho might have missed it by a glove or 2, if that. Like, he was on a great line, but just missed. Miranda slaps one out on a line drive to left field, and Schneider there for that. Davis Schneider records the out. There's now 2 down.
I tell you what, this lineup is a good lineup. You think about the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I don't think this Minnesota Twins team is mentioned with the LA Dodgers, but they should be. It's a powerful offensive lineup.
Well, we gave the number earlier in this inning, batting .286 over the last 18 games as a team, and that has only risen as they've recorded a couple more hits since I gave that stat. Back to the top of the order, a third at bat in just the third inning for Eddie Julien. 1 for 1 in the ball game. His walk last inning, ultimately he was stranded on base as he tries to get on again. Fires a dribbler out towards short, and it went past the glove of Clement. I don't know if he intentionally left it or just missed it, but then it was bobbled on top of that by Bichette, and it dribbles into shallow left, and Julien is on with 2 out here in the third.
Well, Ernie Clement crossed in front of Bo Bichette, and I think he might have just clipped it with his glove. And as soon as Ernie Clement crosses in front of Bo Bichette like that, it's basically an impossible play for Bichette to make. Ernie Clement didn't touch it, but it's a tough play for Bo Bichette once he crosses over him like that.
It went off Bichette's foot after it went under the glove of Clement. For now, the official score has recorded that as a hit, not an error.
Yeah, that's a base hit.
As Julian stands on first. And Julian takes off. And a swing and a miss at the plate from Larnach. And the Blue Jays don't even throw down to second. And Julian is in there with his 4th stolen base of the season.
Well, Julian got a big jump there. Kevin Gausman not really paying attention to Julian at first base. A big, slow leg lift, and Julian got a great jump and stole that base with ease.
That one down in the dirt, missing. It's 1-2. Third inning brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Guelph and Elmira. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Blue Jays trailing 7-1 in the top of the third. Gausman looks over at second, delivers on the 1-2. It's outside, well outside. It's now 2-2.
Gausman just threw his 85th pitch of the ball game. He's thrown 2 2/3 innings.
2 down, top 3, man on second. Minnesota leading by 6. Gausman fires. It's slapped into left field, turning the corner at third. Julian's going to try and score. Schneider with the throw to the plate, and they get him at home. Jansen caught it from Schneider, slapped the tag, and the Blue Jays get out of the inning. But not before they give up 3 more on a 3-run homer from Carlos Santana. Toronto trailing 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA Draft Lottery is Sunday at 3 Eastern, and you can hear all the action on NBA radio. Coming in with a right-hand throwdown! The future of a franchise could change with the bounce of a ping pong ball, and our experts will react to the results as they happen.
That guy is going to be a star in this league.
The 2024 NBA Draft Lottery, Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, followed by Game 4 between the Knicks and Pacers in Indy. Your home for the postseason is Sirius XM NBA Radio, Channel 86.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Each night after the horn sounds, NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Tatum saw it coming, picked it off, drives in, and throws it down with 2 hands.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
It seemed like we had a lot of guys that were getting banged up, but we were able to get the job done.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the all-new Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back at Rogers Center, getting set to start the bottom of the third inning. The Blue Jays trailing 7-1 as we are back to the top of the order with Davis Schneider. Struck out in his first at-bat to lead off the game, and the first pitch from Simeon Woods Richardson. No good, and Schneider ahead 1-0.
Scoring 6 runs off Simeon Woods Richardson is a tall task. He's only given up 3 earned runs in his last 3 starts combined.
Came into the ball game with a 1.74 ERA. Schneider sends one out towards right center. It's off the wall. Schneider turns the corner, and it's going to be a stand-up double for Davis Schneider. That's a way to start an inning.
Well, if you're trying to get back into this ball game, that's a good start. Davis Schneider drills that fastball from Woods Richardson into the gap in right center. And that's kind of what you just have to do. You just have to chip away 1 run per inning, maybe mix in a crooked number there and mix in a 2 spot, especially against a tough pitcher like Woods Richardson, who doesn't really give up many runs.
Dalton Varsho steps in now. Grounded out to second in his first at-bat, and a broken bat sends one down the right field line, just missing foul. And actually, it didn't break the bat. I thought I heard a little crack there. He's going to stand in there and get set with the 0-1. Going to have to check my ears. Thought I heard something. Maybe it was Tom just biting some potato chips behind me or something. I don't know. Blue Jays trailing 7-1, but they got the leadoff man on moments ago. Schneider out at second with a lead. Varsho in the box, down 0-1 in the count. Second pitch from Woods Richardson, no good on a fastball. It's 1-1. Varsho slaps at the next pitch and fouls one way deep into the stands, up and over the Blue Jay dugout, now trailing in the count 1-2.
And Varsho will have to fight to keep this at bat alive, now down 1-2. At worst, you have to move Davis Schneider to third base.
Varsho, one of only 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup for the Blue Jays today against right-hander Woods Richardson. Looks over at Schneider at second. The pitch, well high. It's 2-2.
That was almost the pitch that Carlos Santana hit out.
You're right.
Kevin Gausman, a fastball well out of the strike zone.
I was watching Varsho in batting practice, and again, that's BP, not live action, but he was rocking a ton of shots way deep into the right field bleachers. We'll see if he can get under one right here, as Woods Richardson just missed. On the 2-2, it's now 3-2 to Varsho with Vladdy standing on deck. None out with Davis Schneider out on second. The leadoff double started the inning. The pitch, and Varsho sends another one down the first base side. Just foul, will do it again.
And on that previous 2-2 pitch, Dalton Varsho got an absolute gift from Phil Cuzzy. It was a fastball that was an easy strike call. Everybody in the building knew that that ball was a strike, and Phil Cuzzy called that a ball, and now it's a full count to Dalton Varsho.
That's one of those ones I say, take it and run if you're a Blue Jay fan. You just let it slide, and you go with it. 3-2 to Varsho. And Varsho on a rope out to right field. It's going to bounce the track, hit the wall. Schneider's coming around second. Varsho heading into second. Schneider scores. Sliding in safely is Varsho. And it's an RBI double for Dalton Varsho. So he got under one like I said he was doing in BP, but just didn't send it into the stands. But you'll take that.
Well, Dalton Varsho needs to give or send home plate umpire Phil Cuzzy a watch or something, maybe even a Rolex. That's Phil Cuzzy's double right there as he rockets that 3-2 slider from Woods Richardson off the wall in right field. That was a good swing. He needs that.
And now Vlad steps in. Guerrero with Varsho out at second base. 1 for 1 in the ballgame, Vladdy, after getting a base hit up the middle in his first at bat. Woods Richardson with the pitch inside. It's 1-0.
And like I said, you just chip away. 1 run, 2 runs. It's early enough in this ballgame where this game isn't over. Nobody out, a guy standing on second base. Theoretically, that guy should be the third run of this ballgame.
Varsho's 8th double of the season. He's standing out there at second as Vladdy gets underneath one and bloops it up. It should have enough legs, yes it will, to get into the stands up and over the backstop towards the dugout for the Twins. It only made it 2 rows deep. I mean, those Gucci rows now are about 8 feet wide. Lots of room down there for the fans that are behind the plate. The count even now at 1-1. Blue Jays down 7-2. But again, as Chris just mentioned, we're only in the third, so still lots of time. But they'll need the bats today. Guerrero swing and a miss. It's now 1-2. Guerrero up to .259 on the season. Trying to cash in another one with Varsho out at second. Back-to-back doubles to start this inning for the Blue Jays. And Vladdy would love to get in on that action. The 1-2 pitch. And Vladdy will send it into right center turning the corner and scoring is Varsho, and Guerrero with the RBI is standing at first. He's 2 for 2 today.
Well, over Vlad's last 12 games, he's hitting .378, and that's not including that base hit right there. He is on an absolute tear. A good, hard, low sinking line drive almost into the gap in right field. It was hit so hard, and he's standing on first base and still nobody out. You can see him yelling to the dugout, "Let's go." This game is not over.
So 2 doubles and a single to start this third inning for Toronto as they try to mount the comeback. They were down 3-0, then 4-0. They made it 4-1, gave up 3 more to trail 7-1, and now they've cashed in 2 here in the bottom of the third to get a little bit closer at 7-3 and still none down. Pete Mackey, the pitching coach for the Twins, has come out to the mound to meet with Simeon Woods-Richardson and the entire infield for Minnesota, as he will now head back to the dugout. And Justin Turner gets set to step in. He wants to keep this rally going. Turner has dipped down to 258 on the season. They could use a big hit right here. As I said, keep the fun times going. Bottom of the third, 7-3, Minnesota leading. The first pitch to Turner is good for a strike from Woods-Richardson. A fastball at 95. It's 0-1.
Yeah, 3 straight hard-hit balls by the Toronto Blue Jays. One of those balls thanks to Phil Cuzzi, of course.
Man, you keep going, man. Let it go, man. Let it go.
I can't. It was a clear strike.
That's the pitcher in you talking. The 0-1 swing and a miss, and Turner quickly down 0-2. Danny Jansen in the on-deck circle. Vladdy with a slight lead at first. Woods-Richardson doesn't seem to show any concern of Vladdy over there, and throws the 0-2, fouled off by Turner. He stays alive. We'll do it again.
Good job staying alive right there by Turner. Good hard fastball on the inner half of that plate. He's so good at staying alive, fouling off tough pitches, waiting for that pitcher to throw a mistake.
4 homers, 16 runs batted in on the season for Justin Turner. Vladdy on first with none down here in the third. The one, check that 0-2, and it is 1-2 now, as I was maybe reading the future. Missing inside and low was Simeon Woods-Richardson. Approaching 60 pitches now. And just an FYI, as we look ahead to the fourth, Zach Pop is warming up. Turner slaps one at second. That's a double play ball as Minnesota turns it. They go on the 6-4-3 double play, and that puts a bit of a wet blanket on this third inning for the Blue Jays, but still 2 down and a chance to continue here for Danny Jansen.
Yeah, Kevin Gausman now at 86 pitches. Zach Pop warming up in that bullpen. I'm not sure if Gausman is staying in this ball game, but the Blue Jays do have somebody up out there.
First pitch to Jansen, a little bit high, but they're going to say it caught that top edge of the zone. Jansen sort of shakes his head, doesn't like it. So there you go, Chris. It's all even in the wash now.
No, it's not.
All right. The 0-1. That one low. Now 1-1 to Jansen. Flew out to left field in his first at bat. As Woods-Richardson delivers on the 1-1. And Jansen slaps it foul. And wow, people ducking and diving down at the Blue Jay dugout as it bounces just over the dugout and into the net. Nobody seems to be hurt or affected in any way. The 1-2, that one down in the dirt again from Woods-Richardson. It's now 2-2 as Toronto hopes to keep this inning alive. They've scored 2. They led off the inning with 2 doubles and a single from Schneider, Varsho, and Guerrero. Turner just hit into a double play, though, and now Jansen is likely going to pop out. It's in foul territory, and running in the veteran from first base, Carlos Santana, right near the Twins on-deck circle, makes the grab and retires the side. So that will end the third inning, but the Jays got back 2. They trail 7-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 2024 PGA Championship is coming, and you can hear all the action on PGA Championship Radio.
Scotty Scheffler just makes an eagle at the 8th.
All next week, we have coverage from Valhalla Golf Club with analysis, player interviews, and play-by-play coverage.
Brooks Koepka is the winner of the 105th PGA Championship.
Hear the 2024 PGA Championship on PGA Championship Radio, Channel 92 when you're in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues. Right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on SiriusXM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Fourth inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Kevin Gausman's day is done. In 3 innings, gave up 10 hits, 6 earned runs, 7 runs total, had 2 walks and 6 Ks, as now Zach Pop comes into the ballgame. And he will stare in at Ryan Jeffers, who will begin the inning for Minnesota. The right-handed hitting Jeffers starts this 4th inning with Minnesota leading 7-3. First pitch well inside. It's 1-0.
Well, I think that the most disappointing thing about Kevin Gausman's start is his stuff was good. His command was fine. It was just he made too many mistakes when he was ahead in the count, specifically to Carlos Santana.
Again inside from Pop to Jeffers, and Jeffers quickly had 2-0 in the count.
Carlos Santana, of course, had that 3-run homer to center field. He hit that double off the wall in left center, and those are just 2 mistakes that you cannot make to a good veteran hitter.
Pop delivering on the 2-0, and that one ripped foul down the third base side. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Collect air miles on your next home improvement buys at Timber Mart, and hey, make it a double play by scoring even more air miles when you purchase with your Timber Mart credit card. For details, visit Timber Mart, Canada's building center. Blue Jays down 7-3, top 4th. And this one is rocked to left field. It's high, and it's gone. It's a solo shot to start the 4th inning for Ryan Jeffers, his 9th of the season.
Well, Ryan Jeffers has a lot of pop. You just said it. 9 homers already this season. And he takes that good sinker from Zach Pop and didn't get all of it, but he's got enough power where even if he doesn't get all of it, he can still get it out of any ballpark. Ryan Jeffers is a good hitter.
So the lead was as high as 6 when it was 7-1. Toronto just got back 2 in the 3rd inning to make it 7-3, but the lead back up to 5 now with an 8-3 adverse as IKF tosses it to Vladdy, and there's 1 down.
Zach Pop has one of the best fastballs in all of Major League Baseball. When he gets it down in the zone, he has incredible sink, very good velocity. And we saw that during the last pitch to Max Kepler, but that fastball to Jeffers that he hit out was an elevated sinker, and when he gets that ball elevated, it is very hittable.
That brings up Carlos Correa, and he jumps on the first pitch and rips it into left field in the corner. That one was fair by a good 5 feet into the corner. Schneider on a long run finally picks it up, and it's a stand-up double for Carlos Correa.
And just like his fastball to Ryan Jeffers, that one right there was elevated, and Carlos Correa does not miss it. Hits a good line drive into the corner in left field. Zach Pop missed his spot by about 2 feet there.
You know, before the ball game, John Schneider was chatting with some of the members of the media, was in there, had a chance to listen in, and one of the things he was saying and asked about, this bullpen has struggled quite a bit of late and arguably this season. And he said, yeah, at some point, somebody not named Romano or Garcia needs to get us out of a jam and actually record a few outs. And he wasn't throwing anybody under the bus. It was just a fact. Like, those long relievers have struggled quite a bit this season. 1 out here in the top of the fourth, with now Correa on second. And Alex Kirilloff, the left-handed hitting left fielder, comes up and then quickly falls down 0-2. He just fouled off that pitch, the sinker, from Zach Pop.
Yeah, you said it. The Blue Jays don't have a bridge guy right now. And what a bridge guy is, it's who gets you from the starter to those late inning, high leverage closer type guys like Garcia, like Romano. And those guys are generally the guys that are overlooked, but they're also some of the most important guys on a roster, because you can lose a lot of ball games in those 6th, 7th, 8th inning.
The 1-2 pitch from Pop comes inside. It's now 2-2.
But I think Zach Pop is a guy, and I know that I've talked about him quite often over the last week or so since he's been called up, but he is a guy that if he can make good pitches, he's a guy that can easily be that bridge guy, because he has the stuff. He has some of the best stuff in all of baseball.
The 2-2. It's sent on a bouncer over to first base to Guerrero. Pop getting over there in time to record the out on a nice toss from Vladdy.
He has the fastball, a lot like Clay Holmes in New York, the Yankees closer, where he can tell you a fastball is coming, and it has so much downward movement on it and so much velocity that hitter is still going to beat it into the ground.
That ground out from first, or to first from Kirilloff, still allowed Correa to advance, so he now stands on third with 2 down as Willie Castro comes up. Another lefty bat trying to cash in a runner in scoring position, with Correa going from second to third on that last out moments ago. Castro doubled and scored in his last at bat, batting .275 on the season, looking to keep this inning alive for the Twins. The 1-0 from Pop. And Castro didn't like it. He thought it was inside, but it certainly looked like it caught that edge. And it's called a strike. It's now 1-1. Minnesota leading 8-3 here in the fourth. The 1-1 swing and a miss on a sinker at 96 from Pop, and he's ahead in the count, 1-2.
Yeah, you can see just how foolish Willie Castro looked on that sinker. So much downward action on it, and then the velo is 96, 97. Really, really tough to hit.
Pop looks in at Jansen, checks the sign, and comes set. The 1-2 pitch. And that one sent to Vladdy again. Picks it up on a backhander, tosses back again to Pop, who gets there in time to grab it from Vladdy, step on the bag, and get out of the inning. The Blue Jays down 8-3 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays, and with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza Pizza's big hitter, Fixed Rate Pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizzapizza.ca. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit ConnexOntario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
First pitch swinging, Danny Jansen rocks the ball to left. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Getting set to start the bottom of the fourth inning from the Timber Mart broadcast booth as Bo Bichette stands in, rocked a solo shot in his last at-bat, and swings at the first pitch and sends a liner out to left field, and Alex Kirilloff got there in time to make the grab. I thought that might drop, but Kirilloff got to it.
Well, I said after his last at-bat that something's clicked for him, and even though he got out there, it was a nice swing, a good flat bat path. Obviously not the result that he wants, but a good hard line drive.
And that brings up Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the number 7 hitter in the Blue Jay lineup. Had a little dribbler out in front of the plate in his first at-bat. He was thrown out at first. Looking to get on here, see if the Jays can get something going in the bottom of the fourth as they're down 5. It's 8-3. Kiner-Falefa fouls one off toward the Blue Jay dugout. Can't see who made the grab down there, but it was an easy grab, whoever it was. And now Kiner-Falefa stands in the box with a 2-1 count. Hitting .400 over his last 6 games. Big swing and a miss right there. It's 2-2. Woods Richardson delivers. And Kiner-Falefa bloops one out into right field, and he's going to reach safely. Base hit for Kiner-Falefa will bring up Cavan Biggio.
IKF is so good with 2 strikes. His approach is just different than most guys, where he's just trying to put the bat on the ball, and even that swing there, just a little excuse me sir, filleted that ball into right field, but it's almost like he's trying to do that. He doesn't care how hard he hits that ball as long as it's to where nobody is.
Cavan Biggio now stands in with a man on first. Swing and a miss on the first pitch from Woods Richardson. It's 0-1. Kiner-Falefa on first after that base hit. Does have a couple of stolen bases on the season. And he takes the lead a couple of strides at first. Santana holding him on. Woods Richardson delivers to Biggio and catches the top of the zone. And quickly ahead now 0-2. Trevor Richards warming up in the Blue Jay bullpen. We'll see what Toronto goes with when they come back in the top of the 5th. But they'd like to keep this bottom of the 4th going with a man on right now and 1 out. Woods Richardson and a swing and a miss from Biggio will sit him down, and there's now 2 down. Ernie Clement now coming to the plate, the number 9 hitter in the Blue Jay lineup, grounded out to short in his first at bat. He's got a man on with IKF on first base. Blue Jays trailing 8-3. 90 minutes into this ball game. The pitch from Woods Richardson is low, a little bit outside, 1-0. Clement hitting .266 on the season, 6 runs batted in. Playing at third today for Toronto. And a little toss over to first as IKF dives back into the bag. The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, Ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. Give you a couple scores in a moment. Pitch inside on 1-0. It's now 1-1. Philadelphia, Miami, no score in the third. Baltimore with a lead in the third against Arizona, 1-0. Yankees in the second inning on top of the Rays, 2-1.
I want to talk about that Pittsburgh-Chicago Cubs game. Paul Skeens, the number one prospect in baseball, is starting today and hasn't given up an earned run in 2 innings.
And Clement just sent one into foul territory, past the first base bag, and a relatively easy grab for the veteran Carlos Santana to sit down the Blue Jays. So they can't get any on the board in that inning. We head to the 5th with Minnesota on top 8-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, it's Billie Eilish. I feel like specifically with this album, hit me hard and soft. It's just enjoying the making of it. The new album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, arrives next week. And I love making music. Billie Eilish Radio is here for a limited time. Channel 3, exclusively on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy playoff basketball to reacting to the NFL draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back. 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance, helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance. Insurance with a heart so big it shows. Trevor Richards now comes into the ball game, so just 1 inning of work for Zach Pop as Richards will get set for the Minnesota lineup, and it will be Carlos Santana to lead things off here in the 5th. In his last at-bat, he rocked a 3-run shot to center field. The left-handed hitting veteran first baseman, Richards, delivers, and that's a strike on the first pitch. Got him with a changeup, 0-1. Minnesota with an 8-3 lead here in the 5th. They have the best record for a visiting team at Rogers Center since 2017. Santana on a line drive flyout out to right field. It's grabbed by Bichette, 1 down. The Twins since 2017, 14-5 here at Rogers Center. Could be 15-5 if this keeps up with a 5-run lead in the 5th inning. 8-3 Minnesota on top. As now Jose Miranda steps in, the number 9 hitter in the Minnesota lineup. Struck out in his first at bat, lined out to left field in his second at bat. Still hitting though, a solid .288 on the season. The third baseman down 0-1 in the count as Richards delivers another strike. It's 0-2. Richards gets the sign from Jansen. The 0-2 pitch. And did he get him? Indeed he did, as they go down to first and check it. And for the second time in this game, Miranda is punched out by first base umpire Alex Tossi.
And during that at-bat there, that's about as good as Trevor Richards has looked all season. A good fastball and 2 very good changeups. Gets Miranda on the little half swing there.
The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by the St. Louis Bar and Grill. As we'll look at some of the other games that I didn't mention. Atlanta leading the Mets 2-0. That one in the top of the third. Washington with a 1-run lead on Boston in the top of the third. Later on tonight, Houston at Detroit, Cleveland at Chicago, the White Sox that is, Cincinnati at San Francisco, a few of the games that will be coming later this evening. Blue Jays and Twins in the top of the fifth with Minnesota leading 8-3 as Richards throws the changeup to get ahead of Eddie Julian. It's 0-1. Second pitch in for a strike, 0-2, and the Canadian now down in the count as Richards tries to get the Blue Jays out of this inning. Can he retire the side and go 1-2-3? Richards to Julian, just missing outside. It's 1-2. And now that one fouled off on the 1-2 pitch. And Julian steps back into the box as Richards gets a new ball. Jansen gives the sign. Richards delivers. And that one looked like it was up in the zone a little bit, but it caught the edge, and it's a strikeout for Trevor Richards. So back-to-back Ks. And that will do it for the Twins in the fifth. Richards looks solid, going 1-2-3 to sit down the lineup. And the Jays will come up in the fifth, down 8-3. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey everybody, I'm former IndyCar driver James Hinchcliffe.
And I'm Indy 500 winner and current IndyCar driver Alexander Rossi. And we're the hosts of Off Track with Hinch and Rossi.
Look guys, it's May, which means the biggest race of the year, the Indianapolis 500, is almost here. So make sure you join us every Monday and Thursday throughout the month as we bring you all the content you could ever want to prepare you for the most exciting day in racing.
So download Off Track now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Goodyear 400 from Darlington Raceway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
We're talking college basketball on ACC Today.
Great run for NC State men's basketball. The story of this team is one I don't think anybody will forget.
They were able to accomplish a lot. They captured the hearts and the minds of the nation. DJ Burns became an absolute star nationally. I love it.
ACC Today, weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern. ACC Radio, Channel 371, and the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
Bottom of the fifth inning, and we are underway as Woods Richardson still in the ballgame for Minnesota. First pitch to Davis Schneider, good on a curveball at 74. And Schneider down 0-1. Had a double in his last at-bat, Schneider. And he's now fallen down 0-2 in the count. That one good for a strike on the fastball at 93. Toronto down 8-3 in this ballgame. Again, bottom of the fifth. Woods Richardson with the pitch. It was heading outside, but Schneider slapped at it, fouled it off, and still down on the count 0-2.
Yeah, they were trying to elevate there, and Woods Richardson missed his spot. Gave Schneider a little bit of an opportunity to get a base hit there. I'm assuming they'll try to elevate that fastball here.
And Schneider gets underneath one, sends it to left field, and it's into the Blue Jay bullpen for a solo shot. Davis Schneider with his fourth home run of the season. And the Blue Jays have cut the Twins' lead in half. It's now 8-4.
The Minnesota Twins did Davis Schneider a favor right there, throwing him a changeup that was right in his bat path, right down the middle. Davis Schneider doesn't really miss many of those. I said that they should elevate that fastball. That's what they should have done. That was a gift from Woods Richardson.
I look over to my left, and there's Chris LaRue shaking his head, nodding his head no. I'm like, what are you shaking your head no at? Schneider just hit a home run, and now I know why. Forever the pitcher, he realizes that the Twins gave him a gift.
Why
Woods
would
Richardson missing?
Why would you throw that pitch? As soon as he let go of that baseball, I was like, why are you throwing a changeup right there?
So Dalton Varsho steps up. He as well had a double in his last at-bat, and he quickly falls down in the count 0-2 as he fouls one off just up and over the net toward the Blue Jay dugout. And now Varsho's got to dig in. So Toronto with a couple of solo shots today, one for Bichette, one for Schneider. They have put 4 runs on the board, but they've given up 8. They've got to continue to try and play the comeback game as Varsho fouls another one off. This one straight back. Still down 0-2. Woods Richardson, his next pitch will be his 85th of the game. Cole Sands warming up in the Minnesota bullpen. The 0-2, and this one popped up right behind the plate, and it's an easy grab for Ryan Jeffers as Varsho will sit down. The injury report is brought to you by Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. If your life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Prera will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyer.ca. We'll give you the latest in just a moment as Vladdy steps into the box and gets ahead in the count 1-0.
Well, George Springer and Kevin Kiermaier remain out due to that viral illness. Springer and Kiermaier were feeling a bit better.
That one down in the dirt, 2-0.
But were both held out of the lineup for a second straight game on Saturday as they deal with a virus. Guillermo Martinez actually went home this morning, too, the Blue Jays hitting coach. There was something nasty rolling through that Blue Jays clubhouse.
So what you're telling me is don't go into the clubhouse before the game. And if I shake any hands, make sure I've got the Purell on standby.
And then Aurelvis Martinez exited yesterday's game in Buffalo after getting hit by a pitch. Martinez is the number 2 prospect for the Toronto Blue Jays.
And Vladdy was ahead in the count 2-0, and now after fouling one off and taking one pitch, Woods Richardson sees Vladdy even at 2-2. Guerrero swings at that 5th pitch, fouls it off down the right field side, and steps back in at 2-2. Speaking of 2-2, he's 2 for 2 today, Guerrero. The average up to 264. With Justin Turner standing on deck. Blue Jays trailing 8-4 with 1 out in the 5th. Woods Richardson, the kick and the delivery. And Vladdy on a frozen rope line drive out to left center, and it drops in for another single for Guerrero. Kirilloff kind of pulled up. It looked like he might have had a chance at that. It got to the wall, but a nice job there by Willie Castro to cut it off and get it back in before Vladdy even had a chance at thinking about going to second.
Well, Woods Richardson made a good pitch in on the hands of Vlad, and Vlad kind of got jammed. But he's just so good right now that he has that good quick swing, pulls the hands through, and just gets enough of it to drop out in left center. I'll tell you what, he is on fire right now. Hitting .268 now.
And that's going to end the day for Simeon Woods Richardson. He will sit down after throwing 91 pitches. He exits the ball game, giving up 4 runs off 8 hits. And I believe it's going to be Cole Sands coming into the ball game. We'll make it official in mere moments, but first, and I usually say back at baseball control, but of course on weekends he's often sitting right here in the Timber Mart broadcast booth. We send it over to our host, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Eric. Before we check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, don't forget we do have Jays Talk, as we always do. I am solo today, so I will take your phone calls and your texts. I will need your phone calls and your texts. 590-590, name and location. I know you all know the numbers, but I will still throw them out at the end of this ball game. All right, let's check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Actually, in case you missed this, over the last week or so, a quick Blue Jays scheduling note, they will be taking on the Detroit Tigers at Comerica Park for a 4-game series at the end of May. The series finale is Sunday, May 26th. Tigers PR saying that first pitch of that game has been changed to 11:35 a.m. Eastern, 8:35 a.m. Pacific. So just note that on your calendars, especially for those of you planning to make the drive down to Detroit. All right, let's check the Stanley Cup playoffs. Round 2 in full swing. 2 games on the schedule tonight. Rangers at Hurricanes, Game 4 goes tonight. Puck drop at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. New York leads the series 3-0. They are undefeated in the playoffs so far, 7-0. Their record so far in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Only 11 teams in the history of the NHL have ever gone 7-0 to start the postseason, and 8 of them went on to win the Stanley Cup. So we'll see if the Rangers can make it 8-0 later tonight. That'll be on Sportsnet and the CBC. The late game, Stars at Avalanche, Game 3, series tied at 1. Puck drop at Denver, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on Sportsnet and the CBC as well. It is indeed Sands on the mound. Justin Turner with the pine tar stain over his name. He steps into the batter's box. Here's Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with the call.
All right, thanks very much, Joe. Cole Sands, his 14th appearance of the season for Minnesota. With a man on first, it's Vladdy, who just singled moments ago. Justin Turner steps in, swing and miss on the first pitch. Down 0-1 in the count with 1 out here in the 5th, and the Blue Jays trailing 8-4. Sands' second pitch missing outside. It's 1-1. What did that fan just yell down in front of us?
I think Turner.
Turner? That was Turner?
That's what it sounded
I thought he said Colonel. I didn't know what he was talking about.
That guy's like feet in front of us.
And the third pitch comes in on a sinker clocked at 95 from Sands, and now Turner down in the count 1-2.
Yeah, Sands has some good stuff. He's having a decent season. This is his 14th game of the season. He has a 2.76 ERA, 23 strikeouts, and 16 1/3 innings pitched.
And that one gets away from Jeffers, and it allows Vladdy to move up to second. Nice heads-up base running there from Guerrero as he kind of smiles over at the Blue Jay dugout. And Turner steps back in with a 2-2 count and now a runner in scoring position.
That was great base running from Vlad. As soon as he saw that baseball hit the dirt, he took off to second base.
Sands comes set, fires at Turner, who fouls one off well over the Minnesota dugout. And I believe that one, did it go into the third deck or second deck? Doesn't matter either way. Some fan has a souvenir, and Turner is looking to give the fans at least another run on the board, maybe more. Jays down 8-4 with Vladdy out at second. Turner hoping to cash him in with one swing right here. The 2-2 pitch from Sands. And Turner sends it towards right center. On the run, both outfielders. It's cut off there in right field by Kepler, and Vladdy was about halfway to third. He now runs back to stand on second and unable to advance to third. A long fly ball and a long out for Justin Turner.
That was a tough play for Max Kepler. I thought that ball was dropping for sure. And so did Vlad, who was halfway between second and third on that play. But a heck of a play from Max Kepler deep in that gap in right center, over the shoulder. And Vlad still stands on second base.
So that brings up Danny Jansen, with Vladdy still out there on second in scoring position. Credit to Castro and Kepler. They both got there. That thing looked like it might hit the wall or maybe fall in for Turner, but the fielders did their job, got there in time, and recorded a big out. With now 2 down, Jansen hoping to keep this inning alive. And he rocks one to left field, sends it deep, and gone. A frozen rope 2-run shot for Danny Jansen. 376 feet on the 2-run homer for Danny Jansen, and it has pulled the Blue Jays within 2 as they trail 8-6.
And all of a sudden, it's a ball game. Danny Jansen hits that fastball on a line into that bullpen in left field. He drilled that baseball 106 miles an hour off the bat, and all of a sudden, it is a ball game.
Bo Bichette steps in. He's already got a home run today, a solo shot that came back in the second inning. The Blue Jays with 3 home runs in this game. Schneider already had one earlier in this inning. Jansen just had one moments ago. But now Bichette has fallen down 0-2 in the count. We'll see if he can fight his way back right here. With 2 down in the 5th. Sands delivers. And Bichette offered at it. Is it a strike? Yes, indeed. They go to first for the call, and Bichette's going to sit down. The fans don't like it as the Boo Birds come out, but the Blue Jays get 3 in the inning. They've cut it to 8-6 as we head to the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Jordan Romano saves the game for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 6th inning. And the first batter of the inning, Trevor Larnach, hits one out to left field, and underneath it, making the grab, Davis Schneider. And very quickly, the Blue Jays with 1 down. The 6th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance, helping Canadians through it all. Desjardins Insurance, insurance with a heart so big, it shows. Toronto with 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th moments ago. They have made this a ball game as they trail now 8-6. Minnesota once had a 7-1 lead. Ryan Jeffers steps in now for the Twins. Hit a home run, a solo shot in his last at-bat after striking out in his first 2 at-bats, as Trevor Richards is still on the mound for Toronto. 1 down, top 6. The 0-1 pitch. And Jeffers gets underneath one again, this one to center field. Varsho is back, his back to the wall, and just before the wall, on the track, Varsho makes the grab. Jeffers hit that about 395 feet, not enough.
Yeah, Jeffers just got underneath that, just a hair. And he barely missed a home run to center field. Dalton Varsho camping underneath that, right against that center field wall. Like I said earlier, Jeffers is a good player.
That brings up Max Kepler. The average up to 325 on the season. He's 1 for 3 this afternoon. Singled and scored back in the 1st. Struck out in his 2nd at-bat. And grounded out to 2nd back in the 4th inning. 2 out here in the 6th. And the 1-0 pitch from Richards is outside. It's now 2-0. Coming in with a strike on that third pitch. Richards gets that one to go. The changeup at 79. It's now 2-1 to Kepler. Minnesota up 8-6, but they pitched a donut in the last inning. Well, I guess they didn't pitch it, but they weren't able to put anything on the board in that fifth inning. Their first inning without a run scored. They had 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, 1 in the fourth, but then had that donut in the fifth, and Toronto's trying to do it again here in the sixth, hold them off the scoreboard. Richards, though, down in the count 3-1 as he comes set, gets the sign from Jansen and delivers. And this one sent towards the gap in right center, but Varsho again on the run, makes the grab. Not much gets by him as Toronto yet again sits down the Twins 1-2-3 in the inning, and we head to the bottom of the sixth. With Toronto down 8-6, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Make the most of Mother's Day with a homemade collection for every kind of mom on the all-new SiriusXM app.
I want to thank you for what you've done.
Explore celebrity-hosted music specials.
Chaotic, which life can be sometimes, especially as a mom.
Comedy from our favorite funny moms. Brunch-ready soundtracks, parenting podcasts, and more.
I had the best day with you today.
Search Mother's Day in the SiriusXM app.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' third national title.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the sixth inning, Blue Jays trailing 8-6 as the leadoff man comes up. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the number 7 hitter in this Blue Jay lineup, leading things off in the sixth. First pitch coming in from Cole Sands, still in the ball game after getting knocked around the last inning. The Twins stay with him, and Kiner-Falefa gets ahead in the count 1-0. Second pitch, in for a strike, caught that outside edge. It's 1-1. That one outside. It's now 2-1. Celebrate Mother's Day with a special edition of Junior Jays Fun tomorrow. Experience the fun at all the Junior Jays zones throughout the ballpark, featuring artists, games, and more. Don't miss out on exclusive activities crafted just for mom. Kiner-Falefa fouls the 2-1 pitch off, and it's now 2-2. Of course, on Junior Jays days, Kids Run the Bases postgame. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/juniorjays. Yes, indeed, Mother's Day tomorrow. I better not have to remind you folks. Get on out and make sure you get something for your mom and take care of mom tomorrow on her special day. Kiner-Falefa tries to send one up the middle, but it's picked up by the shortstop, Carlos Correa, who whips one to first and gets it for the out just ahead of Kiner-Falefa.
You know what would be a great idea? If moms could run the bases on Mother's Day. Why don't we do that?
Yes,
somebody's listening right now that makes decisions. That is a great idea.
Or at least give mom the option.
No.
I'm sure there are some moms that maybe shouldn't run the bases.
What?
I'm just saying they might hurt themselves. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure there's many dads too. I'm not picking on moms. Maybe there are some moms that just,
Okay, if you cannot run the bases, you are not going to be forced to run the bases.
Yes. The way you were presenting it is like, Mom, you must run the bases. The 0-1 pitch coming into Biggio for another strike, and now it's 0-2. So maybe you'll be the guy that puts up the insurance tab for that.
I will not be that guy.
No?
It's just my idea.
You're the idea guy. The 0-2 pitch to Biggio outside, now 1-2.
From the way you were talking earlier, you're the money guy, I'm the idea guy.
Oh, yeah. Sands delivers, and it's fouled off. Fighting to stay alive, Cavan Biggio.
On that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard,
yes, sir,
Paul Skeens has given up his first run as a major leaguer, a homer to Nico Horner.
And Biggio just slapped a base hit to center field, as Cavan Biggio will stand on first with 1 out.
But he's only given up that 1 run. 3 2/3 innings pitched, 6 Ks, 1 earned run. And he hit 102 miles an hour.
And he's got a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying. That's a good thing, isn't it? Something just dropped down from the top deck in front of us. Hopefully it wasn't a drink. I'm just checking to see if any fan down behind us is wet. There is a lady looking up right now saying, what the heck was that? But I don't think it was a drink. So all is good in the hood with Biggio at first base. 1 out. And Ernie Clement standing in, 0 for 2 on the day. Sounds like some fans are maybe trying to get the wave going here. Trying to rally on the Blue Jays. It's not a sellout crowd today, but it's still a solid crowd. I'm looking up, and outside of maybe the top 10 or so rows in a couple of sections, in the 500 level, they're pretty jammed in here today on a Saturday afternoon. And a ton of action with 14 runs total and 22 hits combined as well.
Well, there's a lot more buzz now than there was a couple of innings ago. Now that the Blue Jays are back in this ball game, only down by 2 runs and looking for more.
Clement was ahead in the count, 2-0, just fouled one off. It's now 2-1. Sands checks in. Biggio over at first. The 2-1 pitch, and Clement gets underneath one, sends one to center field. Tracking back, Castro makes the grab about 10 feet in front of the track, so a decent ride from Clement, but a flyout nevertheless. And now the Blue Jays with 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Brings us to the top of the order as Davis Schneider will step in, the right-handed hitting Schneider with a solo shot in his last at-bat. Can I get greedy and say do it again? A 2-run shot would tie this ball game.
You are more than welcome to be greedy right now.
Biggio looked like he was trying to take off, and then as he stopped, he slipped and fell. But luckily, Schneider fouling off that pitch, which allowed Biggio to easily get back to the bag and not a throwdown. He might have been thrown out at first.
That might have disrupted Davis Schneider's swing, seeing Cavan Biggio kind of fall over there at first base.
The 0-1 to Schneider, and that one in there. A nasty curveball at 83. Nice job there by Cole Sands. And now ahead in the count, 0-2, trying to get out of the inning.
And the only thing you don't want to throw here is a changeup right down the middle, like he got last time from Simeon Woods Richardson, the one that he hit out.
The 0-2 to Schneider. He swings, sends one to center field. It's looping, it's dropping, and it's going to fall. And turning the corner from second to third is Cavan Biggio. Chris LaRue is saying send him. But the Jays will have runners on the corners with 2 down.
No, Carlos Fablis is a good third base coach. I'm not questioning his choice there. Cavan Biggio probably would have been thrown out pretty easily at home plate, but with 2 outs, you always take a chance. That would have been a kind of a silly chance. And Fablis holds Cavan Biggio at third base, but a good job by Davis Schneider fighting off that tough pitch and dropping it into center field.
And after getting knocked around in the 5th and now facing some pressure here in the 6th, Cole Sands' day is done as Minnesota is going to make a change. So we'll keep it here in the Timber Mart broadcast booth as we send it over to Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Eric. And before we check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, another reminder that we do have J-Stock after the conclusion of this ball game here at the Rogers Center. I am solo today. I will take your phone calls and your text, 590-590, name and location. I see a couple here already, so keep them coming. I know you all know the numbers, but still, we'll throw those out at the end of this ball game. All right, let's check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. We'll start in the NBA, round 2 going on right now. 2 games on the schedule today. Thunder at Mavericks, game 3. The series tied at 1 heading into game 3. And Dallas right now, the score 66-65 with 5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter in favor of Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Later on this evening, we've got the Celtics at Cavaliers, game 3. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific is the time of tip-off this evening. Series tied at 1 as things shift over to Cleveland. In baseball, you heard Eric and Chris doing some scores. Let's continue. The Diamondbacks and Orioles right now tied at 2. Bottom of the 4th inning. Nobody out. Runners on the corners. The Cubs are at the Pirates for Paul Skeens' debut. Pirates leading 4-1. Bottom of the 4th inning. Lots of plus 100-mile-an-hour pitches coming out of the hand of Paul Skeens, baseball's #1 overall prospect. The Yankees taking on the Rays. The Rays lead right now 4-2, top 5. And the Nationals are in Boston taking on the Red Sox at Fenway. Washington leading 2-1, top of the 5th inning. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action here at the Rogers Center. Here's Eric Smith and Chris LaRue.
Thanks very much, Joe. As Stephen Okert comes onto the mound for the Twins, 13 games this season with an ERA just under 4 at .397. And he will have to deal with Dalton Varsho, who steps up with runners on the corners. Toronto threatening here, trailing by only 2. It's 8-6 Minnesota. Okert, the lefty. It's a lefty-on-lefty battle right now. Varsho taking a first pitch strike on a fastball at 93.
Okert has a big, slow delivery. I wouldn't.
And he throws over to first to try and keep Schneider honest with Biggio over on third, and the fans don't like it.
This might be a little bit over-aggressive, but I wouldn't mind if Davis Schneider took off here, especially because of how slow Okert is to home plate. He's really long.
And Varsho just got a piece of that 0-1 pitch and now down 0-2. Looked like it might have got off the end of the barrel. Straight back into the backstop. You heard it maybe crashing into one of those signs, one of those advertisement signs down there behind the plate. 8-6 Minnesota, bottom of the 6th. They led 7-1 at one point. So the Blue Jays doing their best to make this big-time comeback on a Saturday afternoon. Biggio with the lead at third. The 0-2 pitch to Varsho high. The catcher Jeffers held it for a moment, hoping to get the call, but that was certainly out of the zone.
There's a big hole on the left side of that infield. Carlos Correa is playing right behind second base. Jose Miranda is kind of playing where a third baseman normally plays.
And trying to come back with a slider, missing on the 1-2. It's now 2-2. Varsho battling. Varsho hitting .273 this season against left-handed pitchers. We'll see if he can get another big one right here. Cash in at least one with Kevin Biggio on third. Davis Schneider at first. 2-2 count, 2 down, 6th inning. Schneider takes off. It's outside. They fake the throw down to second. For a moment, Schneider stood about 6 feet before the bag, hoping to draw a throw to maybe allow Biggio to take off from third to home, but Minnesota was not falling for it, and it's now 2nd and 3rd with a 3-2 count and 2 out. Big moment right here for Dalton Varsho. The pitch, and Varsho gets underneath it and pops it up and over the backstop. It sailed into the stands, then took a bounce into about the 10th row, and Varsho still has life.
And look who's warming up in that Minnesota Twins bullpen, Jay Jackson, former Blue Jay.
Okert, 3-2 to Varsho. Outside, and Dalton Varsho draws the walk, and the bases are juiced for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
And if there's one guy that I want up right now, it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You can hear this crowd. They know just how hot he is. He is tearing the cover off the baseball right now. Everything he touches is hit hard. This is why he gets paid the big bucks, situations like this.
The Twins meeting on the mound now as Steven Okert came into the ball game and issued the walk to Dalton Varsho. And Okert's going to stay in the ball game with the lefty on righty.
And if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, this is the situation you want. A left-handed pitcher against Vlad.
Hits .286 in his career with the bases loaded. 5 grand slams. Jays down 8-6. First pitch to Vladdy, in for a strike on a fastball at 93.
And I would imagine that's the one that Vlad wants back. That was a fastball right down the middle. Vlad taking all the way.
Guerrero 3 for 3 today. And he sends one into left field past the diving Carlos Correa. 2 runs will score, and the Blue Jays have tied this game 8-8. Vladdy coming through again. Guerrero stands on first after bringing in 2, and the Jays have fought back from down 7-1 to pull even 8-8 as Guerrero has a 4-for-4 day cooking.
And he is pumping his fists at first base. All of a sudden, it's a tie ball game, 8-8.
Vladdy now takes off for second, no throw. First pitch to Turner is well outside, and the Blue Jays now with 2 runners in scoring position for Justin Turner.
And that was actually a good pitch from Okert to Vlad. It was a good fastball on the inside part of the plate. And Vlad just pulled those quick hands through and hit a good line drive past the outstretched glove of Carlos Correa. I'll tell you what, he's probably about as good as he's ever been over the last 7 to 10 days.
And now Turner sends one, and it's a grab. Jumping for it and making the catch. It was Eddie Julian. It looked like it had a chance to fall into center field for a base hit, but he takes one away, Julian does, from Justin Turner, and that will end the 6th. But the Blue Jays, with 2 more runs, have fought back to tie this game. It's 8-8 as we go to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
How country is Blue Jays pitcher Chris Bassett? He's so country, he showers in his boots. His truck needs 3 parking spots. He's so country, he played the banjo in his high school band. Chris Bassett is so country that he wants you down at the ballpark for Country Night. Arrive early on Country Night to get your Chris Bassett Hound on the Mound bobblehead, live country music, and featuring a pregame performance by Owen Riegling. Country Night, Friday, May 17th. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep.
because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss. Eric Swanson strikes out the side.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back at Rogers Center, we get set to start the 7th inning as Toronto has put up 7 runs over the last 4 innings to come back from trailing 7-1. They are now even 8-8, and Eric Swanson into the ballgame for the Blue Jays. An ERA over 15.5 this season, but they could certainly use a big performance from him right here. You don't want to lose momentum if you're the Blue Jays. The bats have come alive. They've done their job, and now it's time for the bullpen to do theirs. Trevor Richards was solid the last 2 innings for Toronto. Zach Pop, outside of the solo shot, was pretty decent as well, as Toronto's bullpen has tried to pick it up after Kevin Gausman got knocked around. Made it through only 3 innings. Swanson, line drive to start the inning, and a little 1-foot jump and a grab out in right field from Kevin Bichette on the run.
And that is a big out, not only for the Blue Jays, but for the confidence of Eric Swanson. He needed that. If somebody got on base, that mind would have started wandering. That heart rate would have gone up. Now that you get out number 1, you can relax, you can throw good pitches, and hopefully get out of this inning without giving up a run.
Alex Kirilloff comes up, the left-handed hitting left fielder. And the first pitch from Swanson outside. Kirilloff 1 for 3 today. Had an RBI single in the first inning. Swing and a miss on pitch number 2. It was low and outside, but he bailed out Swanson on that one. With that swing and a miss, 1-1 count. And now he steps out of the box for a moment as Swanson gets set. Gets the sign from Jansen. Takes his time before delivering. And the pitch. And it's popped up out towards short. It's actually the third baseman, Clement, who comes over as the infield had shifted a bit. Clement makes the grab, and there's 2 down.
A good pitch right there from Eric Swanson. Actually, the split finger before that fastball was probably the best pitch I've seen him throw over the last week or so. A good split finger that started down, and again, the key to a good split finger is making it look like a hittable fastball, and that one right there was perfect.
2 down with Castro coming to the plate. Willie Castro, the center fielder. And the first pitch in for a strike from Swanson. It's 0-1.
And look who's in that Blue Jays bullpen. Jimmy Garcia. Haven't seen him in a little while.
Before the ball game, John Schneider, Blue Jay manager, did say that he was hoping to get Garcia in the ball game today if the situation presented itself, and it certainly looks like that might be the case, as Chris just told us. Swing and a miss from Castro, now down 0-2.
You have to expand the zone. If you're Eric Swanson, you can't give Willie Castro anything that he can put the barrel on. Either elevate that fastball or bury that split finger. There's really no in between.
Castro 1 for 3 today, grounded out in his last at-bat. Swanson trying to sit him down, and he will. Strikeout looking for Swanson. That's what Eric Swanson needed. They go 1-2-3, the Twins, and we head to the bottom of the 7th. It's 8-8, Toronto and Minnesota. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment program. Your locally owned, completely Canadian hub of building and renovation expertise. Get your Timber Mart credit card at participating locations and pay later. 12 months later. Conditions apply. Ask in store for details or apply at timbermart.ca.
I am by your side. Got a heart so big. On this you can rely. No mountains too tall for the strong boots to climb. I am by your side.
That was Desjardins Insurance, playing insurance with a heart so big it shows. Tune in for your auto and home coverage at desjardins.com/heart.
Hey, this is Bichette. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back in the Timber Mart broadcast booth as we get set to start the bottom of the 7th inning. The Blue Jays have come back from trailing 7-1. It's now 8-8. And the Blue Jay bats will try to get it going again here as Danny Jansen will lead things off for Toronto. The Blue Jays with 12 hits on the afternoon, and they have scored 7 runs over the last 4 innings. And again, looking to keep the good times rolling right here in the 7th.
And they'll try to do it against former Jay Jackson, who's sporting a 6 ERA this year with the Minnesota Twins. He had a 2.12 ERA last year and almost 30 innings of work.
First pitch to Jansen, good for a strike on a 4-seam fastball clocked at 92. Jansen 1 for 3 today, had a 2-run homer in his last at bat, rocked one into the bullpen out in left field. Jansen digs in. Jackson gets the sign and delivers. And that one outside. It's 1-1. Jackson gets set. The leg kick and delivery comes inside. Jansen holds off. It's 2-1. And Jansen sends one into right field on a little bit of a bloop drive. You'll take it any way you can get it as Jansen starts the inning with a base hit. And the Blue Jays look to keep this offense rolling.
And Danny Jansen is just on fire right now. That was a little bit of a cue shot right off the end of the bat. Dumps it over the second baseman, Edward Julien. I know Bo Bichette's coming to the plate, but you have to think about how you're going to get that guy around the bases.
Bichette stands in 1 for 3 today, has a solo shot. Bottom of the 7th. First pitch from Jackson, well outside to Bichette. It's 1-0. Bichette has bumped the average up to 203, and again got underneath one for a home run in this ball game. We'll see if he can get another base hit right here. Kind of got underneath one. It's out toward right field, down the first base side, and it's going to drop. Santana in foul ground, couldn't get to it. So life in the lungs of Bo Bichette. Nice job there by the veteran to still get down and track that one down and nearly make the grab.
Oh, 38 years old. Giving it all he has over there. It's probably part of the reason why he keeps getting signed, outside of the fact that he can still hit.
The 1-1 to Bichette with Jansen on first. Jackson with the kick and the delivery. And Bichette with a liner to short right into the glove of Correa. Pretty much hit it straight at him. Hit it hard, but in the wrong spot, and there's one down.
Yeah, that's the second time today. Bo's hit the ball right on the screws, right at somebody. But now you really have to think about how Danny Jansen is going to get to second base. There's a huge hole on the right side. IKF so good at going the other way.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, average up to 280 on the season. Looks at the first pitch, and it's in for a strike from Jay Jackson. The sinker at 91. An 0-1 count to IKF. Bottom 7. It's an 8-8 ball game. And that pitch missing a little bit low. It's 1-1.
We actually saw a hit and run. I believe that was in Washington that worked to perfection with IKF up at the plate. That would be a great idea here. But I guess with the way IKF is swinging the bat, might want to just let him swing away.
Jansen actually takes off, and well, Chris LaRue just read the mail. Jansen turns from second to third, and the hit and run one is indeed on. Give this guy a raise to my left. Blue Jays with runners on the corners with one down.
Well, I think that was just a run and hit. That wasn't a hit and run. A hit and run is you have to swing the bat no matter what. But I believe that that was more of a run and hit. That was either way. That was a great job, both by Danny Jansen getting a good jump, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa hitting it on the screws to left field for the single.
Look how humble you are. Even when I try to give you credit, you don't take it.
Well, Ryan Fabro is at the game right now. Say that again. Say that again.
Yeah. The Blue Jays now with 14 hits in this game. They have come back from down 7-1 to tie it 8-8. They have scored 5 runs in the last 2 innings, 7 runs in the last 4 innings, and looking for more here in the 7th inning. They are threatening with only 1 down and runners on the corners. Kevin Biggio is due to come up, but it looks like Toronto may make a change. We were told that George Springer could go today if necessary, and he is standing near the on-deck circle right now. Might check into the ball game based on what Minnesota does right here. And as they do make a pitching change, let's keep it here in the Timber Mart broadcast booth and send it over to Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Eric. And again, before we check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, we do have Jays talk today. I'm sure that the tenor of the post-game show will change based on where we were at around in the first inning. But I will take your phone calls and your text, 590-590, name and location. That is the People's Text line. It is, as you always know, always open. And you guys know the drill, but I will still throw the numbers to call out for you to call at the end of this ball game. All right, let's get back to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. A couple of scores around the American League East. Nationals and Red Sox at Fenway Park in Boston now tied 2-2. Red Sox getting one back. Bottom of the 6th inning, 2-2 for Boston and Washington. The Rays lead the Yankees 4-2. Randy Arozarena going the opposite way. Rays now leading the Yankees 4-2. The Orioles now trail the Diamondbacks 4-3. Gunnar Henderson, as I look, just knocking in yet another home run. Jordan Westberg with a double to deep center field, but D-backs leading bottom 5 4-3. George Springer does indeed step into the box as a pinch hitter. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Eric and Chris.
All right, thanks very much, Joe. The Blue Jays hope that today is the day that maybe has ignited this offense. We've been waiting for it. And Toronto exploding for 14 hits and 8 runs, and they're looking for more right now. Thielbar comes into the ball game now. Caleb Thielbar, the left-handed pitcher for the Twins. The delivery to George Springer, who's come off the bench for the Jays, as Springer fouls one off into the stands and now down 0-1.
Well, I think the biggest thing for George Springer here is slow the heart rate, just put the barrel on the ball and try to get something to the outfield. Don't try to do too much. That first swing was a big swing from George Springer.
Second one inside, and now Springer pulls even at 1-1. Again, Springer coming in for Kevin Bichette, who started this ballgame in right field. Bichette had a single and a run scored in his last at bat, but his day is done, and Springer's hoping to get some damage done right here. Watches that third pitch well inside. It's now 2-1.
Good take from George Springer right there. Thielbar has a good curveball. His numbers are a bit inflated. His ERA is 6.5, but he does have good stuff.
The 2-1 pitch from Caleb Thielbar. Inside again, Springer holds off. It's now 3-1.
And the infield is in. Carlos Correa is kind of playing halfway over there at shortstop, potentially trying to get a double play there, but Edward Julian in on the grass.
The 3-1 pitch inside again, and Springer showing a lot of patience, draws the walk, and the bases are loaded.
Good job from George Springer, not being too antsy, just trying to move the line, get Ernie Clement, the next guy, to the plate. And now the Blue Jays are in control here with the bases loaded and less than 2 outs.
Ernie Clement steps in, 0 for 3 on the day. The first pitch is good from Thielbar on a curveball just under 75. And the 0-1 pitch, no good, a little bit high. Came back with the curveball again, missed on that one. It's 1-1. Bases loaded in an 8-8 ball game in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-1 low and inside. Thielbar has not found his groove yet. Coming inside a ton to Springer, and now to Clement as well.
Yeah, he hasn't really found the release point of that curveball yet.
The 2-1 pitch, and Clement slaps one towards center. It's going to drop in front of the center fielder Castro. Looked like he wasn't sure what to do with that. And Danny Jansen comes in to score, and the Blue Jays lead 9-8.
And I thought Willie Castro had a beat on that. It looked like he was going to catch it, and he kind of pulled up at the last second. And just like that, the Blue Jays have come all the way back from being down 7-1 earlier in this ball game, and they lead 9-8. How about that? What a ball game.
15 hits on the day for the Blue Jays. And we'll have another mound visit. Minnesota coming apart at the seams the last few innings. And I've noted it multiple times. I'll say it again. Maybe this is the day, if you're the Blue Jays, that you circle when your offense finally came alive and started doing what you had hoped they would do all season.
Well, yeah, outside of Kevin Gausman, there has been a ton of positives today. If you want to look at up and down this Blue Jays lineup, and even Eric Swanson came in this ball game, who has struggled mightily to a 15.5 ERA and threw a very clean, tidy 3-up, 3-down inning. This might be that game. You're right.
Kiner Falefa at third, Springer at second, Clement at first. The base is still juiced for Davis Schneider.
I wouldn't mind if Davis Schneider went big fly right here.
I'll take that. He's been knocking the ball all over the place today. 3 for 4 with a double, a solo shot, a single, and 3 runs scored. Give him a triple and hit for the cycle. First pitch to Schneider, no good, and the second one in the dirt, so it's a 2-0 count.
And if I'm Davis Schneider, I am getting ready for something that will be right down Broadway.
Caleb Thielbar came in for the Twins, and he has been erratic at best. The 2-0 pitch, and it's high, 3-0 to Schneider.
You're not swinging here. John Schneider has given Davis Schneider the red light, I would imagine.
The 3-0 pitch, it's in for a strike, and Schneider indeed taking the entire way. Just over 35,000 here at Rogers Center today, and they are buzzing right now. In the 7th inning, 3-1 pitch. Schneider fouls it off, and he drops his bat in frustration. He wants that one back.
Yeah, that's the one he was waiting for. A fastball down in the zone. He does damage on any pitches down in the zone.
So Thielbar fighting back to a full count. 3-2, 1 out, bases loaded. And Schneider fouls off another one to stay alive. We'll do it again.
This crowd is absolutely alive right now.
9 runs on 15 hits. And hopefully more coming. Bases juiced. 3-2 count to Schneider. And he pops one way up, and it's going to be well into the stands. So again, he stays alive, and we'll do it again. Came up and over the Blue Jay dugout.
This is fun, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I know it's not basketball, but this is fun.
Come on, man. I'll take this any day. It's not a Raptor playoff game, but, you know.
Feels like it,
I don't mind working in the middle of May in front of 35,000 people. Schneider digs in again. Thielbar comes set. The 3-2 pitch. And again, Schneider fouls off another one.
He's fouling off some tough pitches from Thielbar. Fastballs that are well placed at the top of that strike zone. And we all know that Davis Schneider struggles with those pitches, but he's doing a good job staying alive here.
The 3-2. Another foul off from Davis Schneider, straight back into the net. Let's rack him up and do it again. Kiner-Falefa at third, Springer at second, Clement at first. Only 1 out, bases loaded, Davis Schneider. 3-2 count. The pitch. And he sends it to left field on a rope, tagging at third, and coming in to score, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And the RBI to Davis Schneider.
Well, Davis Schneider was right on that fastball from Thielbar. Hit a laser to left field. And it was deep enough to score IKF without a problem. And the Blue Jays go up 10-8.
Springer stayed at second, wasn't able to move up. As again, that ball was hit real hard to Alex Kirilloff in left field. So it's now Springer at second, still in scoring position, with Clement at first, 2 out for Varsho. Lefty on lefty battle, and Varsho fouls it up and over the Blue Jay dugout, 30 rows deep, an 0-1 count. What a day for Davis Schneider. What a day for the Blue Jays. 10 runs, leading 10-8, bottom of the 7th. And the second pitch comes in, catches the outside edge. It's an 0-2 count to Dalton Varsho.
You could say what a day for a lot of guys.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Vladdy's got a 4-for-4 day going. He stands in the on-deck circle. Third pitch, missing. On a fastball at 95, it's 1-2. And a second straight pitch, no good from Thielbar. It's now 2-2. It's the first time this season the Blue Jay offense has hit double digits. They've got 10 runs on the board, and they're looking to load the bases again. As Varsho has battled back from down 0-2, it's now 3-2. And Vladdy would love to come back up with the bases juiced. The 3-2 pitch to Varsho. Outside, and the bases are indeed loaded for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., as they were last inning. But before we get to Vladdy, the Twins are going to make another change. Show's getting a lot of work today as we send it over to our host, Shoeli.
Thank you very much, Eric. Keep the text coming for Jay's Talk. 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text line. We'll throw out the numbers to call after this one is in the books. We can talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. We can talk about Davis Schneider and his leadoff spot. Certainly talk about the Blue Jays bullpen as well. Certainly get to Gausman. Whatever you like, we'll discuss it on Jay's Talk once this game is in the books. All right, let's check out that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Another reminder about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Round 2 in full swing. 2 games on the schedule tonight. The Rangers are taking on the Hurricanes in Carolina. Game 4 goes tonight. Puck drop will be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. New York is leading the series 3-0. They are undefeated in the playoffs so far. They are 7-0. Only 11 teams in the history of the NHL have started the postseason 7-0, and 8 of them went on to win the Stanley Cup. So we'll see if the Rangers can make it 8-0 later tonight. You can watch that game on Sportsnet and the CBC. The late game is Stars at Avalanche, Game 3. This series tied at 1. Puck drop in Denver tonight is at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. You can watch that game on Sportsnet and the CBC as well. Round 2 of the NBA playoffs going on right now. Also, 2 games on the schedule. Thunder at Mavericks, Game 3 on right now. The series tied at 1. In Dallas right now, the score is 95-92. Mavericks over Thunder with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Later on this evening, we'll get the Celtics at Cavaliers, Game 3, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific is the time of tip-off tonight. The series tied at 1 as that one shifts over to Cleveland. A quick check of some scores around Major League Baseball. Diamondbacks still lead the Orioles 4-3. The Rays still lead the Yankees 4-2. And headed to the bottom of the 7th at Fenway Park in Boston, the Nationals and Red Sox still tied up at 2. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the box against Josh Stallman. Here's Eric Smith and Chris LaRue with the call.
Thanks very much, Show, as Vladdy stands in there for the second straight inning with the bases loaded. Can Vladdy come through again? Josh Stallman getting set to deliver to Vladdy. Just the second game of the season for the Minnesota reliever. The pitch to Guerrero. And he was taking on that first pitch. It's in for a strike. The slider at 89. It's 0-1.
And Vlad is now hitting .273 on the season after today's 4-for-4.
And after that last at-bat in the 6th inning with the bases loaded, his career average up to 300 with the bases loaded. That one low from Stallman. No good. It's a 1-1 count.
It's incredible how confident he is right now, taking pitches completely different than the way he looked early on in this season. Not swinging at anything that he can't do damage on.
Blue Jays leading 10-8 with 15 hits today. Vladdy fouls one back into the net, and now he's down in the count 1-2.
He's smelling his bat. You could just tell he's having fun. He knows he just missed that curveball. It's fun to watch him when he's going right.
Approaching 6 p.m. Eastern, 5:51 to be exact. Bottom of the 7th, bases loaded to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 4-for-4 on the day. Stallman, the delivery, and Vladdy sends one to right field. And it's a line drive that is grabbed by Kepler. It was kind of tailing. Too bad for Vladdy as he narrowly misses another base hit, and the Blue Jays' 7th inning ends. But Toronto now leads 10-8 as we go to the top of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Your team is in the playoffs.
Anthony Edwards in the front court. Pulls up for the 3 and hits it!
And the place to hear your hometown announcers is the Sirius XM app.
He scores! Pasternak wins the
Series for the Bruins. When the games mean the most, you need that hometown perspective.
An epic best-of-7 battle.
Syncing your hometown announcers to the action is easier than ever. Listen at home on your smart speaker or phone with the all-new Sirius XM app.
Are you kidding me?
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Nobody covers the National Football League like Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Mahomes fires it late for the end zone. Caught! Touchdown!
Get the latest news from OTAs to minicamps, all the way through training camps.
We don't care about expectations. Talk doesn't win games.
Our panel of experts is getting you ready for the 2024 season.
The more I watch this guy, the more I like him.
There's a story for every team on Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is Sirius XM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new Sirius XM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. We're getting set to start the 8th inning, and we haven't seen him in a while, Chris, but Jimmy Garcia into the ball game for the Blue Jays.
The last time Jimmy Garcia threw in a ball game was April 28th against the LA Dodgers. But he's the guy. He's the 8th inning guy. He's been the 9th inning guy this season. He has a .68 ERA in 13 1/3 innings.
And a first pitch from Garcia is in for a strike. It's 0-1 to Carlos Santana, the left-handed hitting first baseman for the Twins. Second pitch, ground ball, out to second, picked up by Connor Falefa, over to first, and an easy first out for the Blue Jays. Should mention as well, the Jays have made some changes. The day is done for Davis Schneider, who has been playing unbelievably, but Schneider actually now out of the ball game. Dalton Varsho over the left, Kevin Kiermaier into the game, now playing in center, and George Springer in right. First pitch from Garcia to Miranda. No good on a slider. It's 1-0.
Well, at this point in the ball game, you're up by 2. You fought back after being down 7-1. You want the best defensive outfielders you can out there.
Miranda swings at the second pitch, and you might have heard the noise there. That indeed was a broken bat. That wasn't Tom Young eating potato chips behind me. So Miranda comes over, gets a new bat from the bat boy, and comes back towards the dirt and gets set to step into the box with the count sitting at 1-1.
Dalton Varsho in left, Kevin Kiermaier in center, and George Springer in right. It doesn't get any better than that.
Best in baseball, you think, or no?
If not the best, probably close to it.
The 1-1 from Garcia. It's sent to center field, and easily camping underneath it, Kevin Kiermaier makes the grab, and there's 2 down.
Over Jimmy's last 9 games, he's pitched 9 2/3 innings and only given up 2 hits. That's pretty incredible.
2 down here in the 8th inning now. Brings up the top of the order. The Canadian, Edward Julian, steps in. First pitch, a ball from Garcia. It's 1-0. Garcia comes right back down Main Street with the curveball. It's 1-1.
He's throwing a lot of off speed right now. I don't know if he's just not trusting his fastball, but he's really relying on those off speed pitches right now.
And a huge one right there. I've still got that fastball, he says. Clocked at just under 96 and now ahead in the count, 1-2. Garcia Checks the sign from Jansen. The 1-2 in there for a strike. Caught looking. Julian sits down, and the Blue Jays head to the bottom of the 8th with a 10-8 lead. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
The hardest work should lead to the best quality of life. If you're a skilled trades worker, you might not be feeling that way right now. But in Alberta, skilled trades workers can earn more, save more, and live more with better wages and a lower cost of living. Visit albertaiscalling.ca to learn more about the $5,000 moving bonus for the first 2,000 skilled trades workers who move to Alberta, stay for a year, and successfully apply. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Hey, this is Chad Green. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
I was brought up in the front row, that fire and brimstone.
Bottom of the 8th inning, and the Blue Jays will start it off with their cleanup man today. Designated hitter Justin Turner steps into the box. Josh Stallmont still on the mound for the Twins, with Toronto leading 10-8. The Blue Jay offense has come alive over the last few innings, exploding again for 15 hits today and 10 runs. First time this season the Blue Jays have gone into double digits in scoring. A fastball at 93 from Stallmont. It's 0-1 to Turner. Second pitch outside. 1-1. Turner 0 for 4 today. Would love to get in on the fun right here and get on base to start this inning. Catches the outside edge. Looked like it was outside based on what we saw, but they call the strike on Turner, and he doesn't like it. Talking to himself and talking to home plate umpire Phil Cousy right now.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think he's talking to himself. I think he's talking to home plate umpire. He's just not making it obvious.
The 1-2 to Turner. And that one low. It's now 2-2. Experience the newly renovated infield at Rogers Center in person, from new drink rails and seats closer to the action, cup holders on every seat. Something for everyone to enjoy. Head to bluejays.com/ticket packs to get yours today. Turner gets underneath one and bloops one up into shallow center. The second baseman, Eddie Julian, out to grab it, and there's one down.
Jimmy Garcia's day is officially done, I'm assuming, because Jordan Romano is out there in the Blue Jays bullpen loosening up.
Danny Jansen now stepping into the box. 2 for 4 today, has a 2-run shot, a single and 2 runs scored. His average up over 300 now as he digs in. Swings at the first pitch and sends his bat flying over the Blue Jay dugout into the net. And Vladdy Guerrero has it, who now hands it off to one of the bat boys, who's going to run it back over to Danny Jansen. Of course, Jansen doesn't wear any gloves. So I don't know, sometimes I guess those hands get a little sweaty, but he lost his grip on that one. Now Jansen reaches down into the dirt and rubs some dirt on his hand and rubs it onto the barrel of his bat. And he steps back in, trailing in the count 0-1 to Josh Stallmont, the Twins reliever, That one low. It's now 1-1.
I've said this before, but can you imagine swinging a baseball bat hundreds of times without batting gloves?
No.
Thousands of times. Danny Jansen, I've never seen Danny Jansen use batting gloves.
I really can't. I mean, you think about like your rec leaguers and your softball players and your t-ball players and whatnot. At least those aluminum bats have real thick grips on them, right?
Yeah, they have the padding,
Exactly.
the padded grips.
Exactly.
That's just straight up pine tar and wood.
Danny Jansen ahead in the count now 2-1. And that pitch catches the inside edge from Stamont. It's now 2-2. Bottom of the 8th, 1 down. Blue Jays leading 10-8 in a game that they trailed 7-1. Jansen looking to get things going for the Blue Jays here in the 8th inning, and he'll do just that. With a base hit to left field, he's now 3 for 5 today, and Toronto trying to get something cooking again. Bo Bichette coming up for the Blue Jays. He lined out to short in his last at-bat. Riding a 1 for 4 day. Bichette with a solo shot that came back in the 2nd inning. That was Toronto's first run of the game. Big swing and a miss as he takes a cut at that pitch from Stamont. It's 0-1.
Yeah, Bo Bichette's only 1 for 4, but he's hit 3 balls hard today. Kind of got unlucky on 2 of those outs.
Jansen on first with 1 down. Bichette stands in and stares down Stamont. The pitch. And that one high. No good. 1-1. Slight lead at first for Jansen. Santana standing in at first. A little dribbler from Bichette goes over the head of Stamont. Bichette trying to hustle down the line. He's thrown out by a step. Jansen advances to second, and Toronto will have a runner in scoring position with 2 down.
Well, I think if Bo Bichette runs hard out of the box, he might have beat that out. He hesitated just a little bit, and then when he realized that that ball was going to bounce over Stamont, the pitcher, he started hustling down the line, and he's out by about a half step. Carlos Correa with a good throw to first base, beating him.
You picked me up well, because as we get the replay, it was indeed a half step. I originally said by a step, but it was a lot closer, and you're bang on with your analysis there, Chris, as Bo was a little bit slow coming out of the box and might have got there if he was hustling from the jump. But still a man out there at second.
I appreciate that, Eric.
No problem. Got to have your back. Ryan Fabro's in attendance. Got to pump your tires.
He's out at the Corona rooftop with his family right now.
Yeah. He probably is, knowing him. Probably ditched his family and he's out there solo. A 2-run lead for the Jays in the bottom of the 8th. 10-8 Toronto. With Isaiah Kiner-Falefa down 0-2 in the count. Just fouled that one off into the dirt. So he'll dig in here and see if he can cash in Danny Jansen from second.
I tell you what, that run out there at second base is a big run. Jordan Romano would love to come into this ball game with a 3-run lead.
Again, an 0-2 count. Stamont, the right-hander, looks in against IKF. Sends one to short on a ground ball picked up by Correa over to first, and in time and a lot of time to record the out and get out of the inning. So the Blue Jays can't put any on the board that inning, but they head to the 9th with a 10-8 lead. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Just looking really for, especially the guys at the top, looking for those guys to get rolling and confident that they will. But I think once they do that and once we kind of do that, things will kind of even out the way we hope they would to start the year.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89 and the SiriusXM app.
Each night after the horn sounds, NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Tatum saw it coming, picked it up, drives in, and throws it down with 2 hands.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
It seemed like we had a lot of guys that were getting banged up, but we were able to get the job done.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Jordan Romano on the mound now for the Blue Jays to start the 9th inning, and a first pitch outside, no good to Trevor Larnach. Jays leading 10-8. Romano looking to close this one out for the Blue Jays and get them back on the winning track after they dropped the opener yesterday to Minnesota 3-2. The leg kick and the pitch good for a strike. On the slider at 85, it's 1-1.
This is the best part of this Twins lineup. Larnach, Jeffers, Kepler hitting .356, .294, and .321 respectively.
And that one fouled off by Larnach. And Romano ahead in the count now. 1-2. Romano leaning over in that traditional stance, staring in at Jansen, now standing back up straight. The leg kick and the delivery. Swing and a miss, strikeout for Jordan Romano.
And the biggest part of this inning for Jordan Romano is getting out #1. And he does right there, striking out Larnach on a good 12-6 slider. His slider is just really good right now. He has a good feel for it. He can throw it for strikes. And it just slides right under Larnach's bat.
Ryan Jeffers, the catcher, stands in now. The right-handed hitting Jeffers. First pitch from Romano, no good, low. Clocked at 98. It's a 1-0 count for Jeffers. A solo shot back in the 4th. He's 1 for 4 today. His Twins trail 10-8 in the top of the 9th. Second pitch inside from Romano. Just missed on the upper edge of that strike zone. The 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss from Jeffers. Got him on a slider.
Well, he loves to throw that slider, but a 2-0 slider up by 2 in the 9th, that means he loves that slider.
Jeffers now fouls one off down the third base side. It's now 2-2. The first giveaway of City Connect Week is one that you're not going to want to miss, folks. On Monday, June 3rd, be the first of 15,000 fans to receive the exclusive Vladdy Guerrero Jr. City Connect bobblehead. Purchase your tickets at bluejays.com/cityweek. Jordan Romano now pulling even 2-2 in the count. To Ryan Jeffers here in the top of the 9th inning with the Jays ahead by 2. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Jordan Romano. There's 2 down in the 9th.
And he threw 5 straight sliders to Jeffers. And that last one went straight down. And Jeffers swings right over the top of it. That's a beautiful slider right there from Jordan Romano.
Max Kepler steps in now. The number 4 hitter in the lineup for the Twins. He extended his hit streak to 13 in the first inning, but he's gone 0 for since. He'll need a hit here to keep the Twins alive and kicking in this ballgame. They trail 10-8. There's 2 out.
And Jordan Romano must be feeling very good because he just threw a fastball at 99 miles an hour.
The 1-1 pitch to Kepler. The kick and the delivery. Missing just a little bit outside. It's now 2-1. Crowd buzzing, didn't like that one, but it did seem that it was outside of the zone. As Jordan Romano moves quickly and gets set again. Coming with the 2-1 pitch. And this one sent to right field. It's hit hard, back against the wall, and it goes off the top of the wall. Springer unable to jump for that one as it was way up there, missing a home run by about a foot, maybe foot and a half. And Kepler will keep indeed the Twins alive as the tying run now comes to the plate.
Well, that's what happens when you kind of get slider happy. Eventually you throw one right over the middle, and Max Kepler a little bit out in front of that pitch there. But he was probably thinking off speed, and he drills that slider from Jordan Romano off the top of that fence in right field.
Carlos Correa now comes in, 2 for 3 today, so he has hit well. Man on second. Correa, first pitch from Romano, no good. Outside, 1-0. Correa, 289 on the season with 2 homers and 10 runs batted in. One of them came today. Romano with the pitch. Swing and a miss from Correa. It's 1-1.
And Correa only has the 2 homers, but he's a guy that if he gets his pitch and he runs into one, he can still get it out of here.
Blue Jays leading 10-8. 18 runs total. 29 total hits, and Correa just blooped one up into foul territory over in front of the dugout to make the grab. Right in front of the Twins is Vladdy Guerrero, and the Blue Jays win this ballgame 10-8. They come back from trailing 7-1 to win 10-8 as Romano gets the save, and the Blue Jays will now try to win the series in the final of 3 tomorrow afternoon.
And you said it earlier, this might be the game on the schedule that you look back at in August and September and kind of circle as the turning point, not only for the offense. Yes, the offense was incredible today. A lot of guys had big games, but I'm looking at after Kevin Gausman left this game, the bullpen came in and did an outstanding job. Eric Swanson came in the ball game when it was tied 8-8, and we kind of all looked at each other, but he came in and threw a clean inning. And then Jimmy Garcia, Jordan Romano. What a ball game.
Blue Jays again behind 16 hits and 10 runs, beat the Twins 10-8 in a game that took 3 hours and 8 minutes. We will step aside for the break, come back with some final stats and stories, and then get set for Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
We're two men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're two men in a truck.
Two men and a truck, the movers who care.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Bases loaded. The 0-2 swung on and missed. Strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays beat the Twins today 10-8. Toronto with 16 hits, 1 error, and they certainly came alive with a lot of that damage in the 5th, 6th, and 7th. And there are a lot of storylines that we could discuss today, but perhaps at the top of the list was the performance turned in from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Guerrero 3 for 3 today. And he sends one into left field, past the diving Carlos Correa. 2 runs will score, and the Blue Jays have tied this game 8-8. Vladdy coming through again. Guerrero stands on first after bringing in 2, and the Jays have fought back from down 7-1 to pull even 8-8 as Guerrero has a 4-for-4 day cooking.
You can tell that Vlad is just locked in. He's having more fun out there. He's having better at-bats. And the most important thing for me watching him swing is he's swinging at good pitches. When he was lost earlier this season, he was not swinging at pitches that he could drive. He's waiting for pitches now that he can hit hard and that he can do damage on. And today he kind of showed that he is so locked in that when he gets those pitches, he's not going to miss them. He was 4 for 5 today with 3 big RBIs. And his average is now 272 on the season. Who would have thought that 3 weeks ago when he was pretty much lost? Danny Jansen was 3 for 5. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with 2 big hits. And then Davis Schneider was 3 for 4. He's now hitting 287. This was just a total team win. And even Kevin Gausman, looking back at his outing, yes, the box score isn't pretty, but he just made a few bad pitches and made a few mistakes, but everything else was pretty good. He was getting ahead of guys. He just couldn't put those guys away. I'm not worried about Kevin Gausman's day, but I am excited about the fact that, like you said earlier on in this ballgame, this is a game that the Blue Jays could possibly look back on and say to themselves, that was the game that was the turning point for us.
So Gausman did give up 10 hits, 6 earned runs, 7 runs total, but 6 of them earned, a couple of balls, 6 strikeouts. And the bullpen stepped up. This was a day I told you earlier in the broadcast, before the ball game, John Schneider said at some point we need our bullpen, our middle guys to come through. They did today. Zach Pop came in, gave up 1 run, but didn't look bad at all. And then Trevor Richards with 2 solid innings. Eric Swanson came in, did his job. Then Garcia, then Romano. Swanson actually gets the win today. The save for Romano, the loss will fall to former Jay Jackson, as Toronto again with 16 hits and 10 runs, winning 10-8. And now they look ahead to tomorrow and a chance to win the series. After losing a nail-biter last night, they get the win today and now set their sights on Sunday's tilt.
Well, this is a good Minnesota Twins team, and they've been the hottest team in all of Major League Baseball over the last couple of weeks. And for the Blue Jays to come back being down 7-1, they scored 7 unanswered runs from the bottom of the 5th on. That tells you a lot about this team, a lot about their resiliency. But like you said, you need the bridge guys in that bullpen, the Trevor Richards, the Eric Swansons. Jimmy Garcia's not really a bridge guy. He's that late-inning, high-leverage guy. But you need those guys to be good. And today they showed why those guys are so important. Eric Swanson came in this ballgame when it was a tie game. You need a 7th-inning guy. You need a 6th-inning guy that the manager has confidence in. And Eric Swanson needs to be that guy. He needs to be that guy, and luckily for the Blue Jays, he was that guy today.
Well, again, one last time, the Blue Jays win 10-8 over the Minnesota Twins after trailing 7-1. They come back to win this ball game by 2, first time this season in double figures for the Blue Jays. Thanks to our producer, Nick Blackmore, technical directors, Andrew Adams and Tom Young. Your in-game host, Show Ali, for Chris LaRue. I'm Eric Smith. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. As again, the Blue Jays win 10-8. You've been listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network as Jays Talk with Show Ali starts right now.
Look, I know Sports Talk Radio is often accused of hyperbole, and I get why. It's largely for a good reason, that is said. But today, I don't care. We're saying it. That was the best win of the season. The team's offense on life support. Your ace doesn't have it. The Stars getting raked over the coals, including hand up by me at times in the last little bit. But this place was dead. We're here at the Rogers Center. This place was dead after Carlos Santana made it 7-1 Twins. And they turned that 7-1 deficit into a 10-8 win over the Twins. Jays even the series at 1 game apiece. Phenomenal stuff from your Toronto Blue Jays today. Show Ali with you. Of course, you're listening to Jays Talk live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet app. Give me a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cellular device. You can text me as well, 590-590, name and location. The People's Text line is always open. Maybe you're leaving the stadium. Maybe you want to get your thoughts in on what the atmosphere was like here. Maybe you want to share your thoughts on any of the team's stars. David Schneider batting leadoff and looked good. George Springer still played today. He earned a walk and a pinch hit appearance and then went and played right field while still sick. You want to talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette getting off the Schneid, you hope? Let's talk about it all here on Jays Talk. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell, 590-590, name and location. And like I said, you can kind of talk about the individual performances today of a lot of people, including basically every member of the bullpen. And you know what? I'll even include Zach Pop. I know Zach Pop came out there and he gives up the home run to Ryan Jeffers to make it, 8-3, I think, at that point. And then he looked, I thought he settled down a little bit. But, I think a lot of people kind of thought, oh, boy, they got some runs back, and then you give up a home run. You know what? I'm going to include Zach Pop in there. Even if he's not in the circle of trust, he's included in that conversation. So every member of the bullpen we saw today acquitted themselves very well. Like I said, Bo, Schneider. But you know what? For me, and I don't think you guys are going to be surprised by this, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is often where conversations begin and end about this team, for better or for worse, and he was awesome today. Like, you're not going to hear a word of, no, and nor should you, hear any Vladdy slander today. Not a word of it from me. And you know what? Before today, I was thinking, yeah, you know what? He's turning it around. He's hitting the ball hard. He has the hit streak going. He's looking better. I said on the pregame show, and I've tweeted this out before, but you look at Vladdy, and post 2021, we've seen a lot of hot stretches followed up by not so great endings to the season, right? Or cold years ended the season by Vladdy for hot stretches. Like, you've kind of seen one or the other, not so much both. But boy, if this is something he can build on, the Blue Jays are going to be in business. I mean, what a game for him today. 4 for 5, 3 runs, lots of great contact. He even was the guy who knocked Simeon Woods-Richardson out of the game. And like I said, he has to keep it up before we can really declare, like, he's back. Vladdy's back. We have to see more from him. This is true. But we got today to see a home run from Bo alongside all of this production from Vlad. And how many times have we had the conversation about how this team will go? Despite timely hitting from the rest of the team, and they got a lot of that today, and they have been getting a lot of that most of the year. But how the team will run on the production of Vlad and Bo, and they got that today. Barker has mentioned, and I'm actually unsure if Barker has actually said this to, like, me personally, or if he said this on the air. I see him so often. But either way, he's mentioned before, generally. I'm certain he said this on the air at some point. Blair and Barker, Jay Stock, whatever. He has mentioned a lot that Vladdy has closed his stance a little bit, like around Star Wars Day, May the 4th, around thereabouts-ish. It's May 11th today. And if that's the thing that's helped him improve, I'm crossing my fingers, and I hope that he stays with it, because we've also made a lot about Vladdy's stance and his swing and how it's changed so radically from the 2021 season, people texting and calling about how he's late on pitches and so on. So if he's found something that works, please let him keep it, because something's working right now for him. He looks absolutely awesome. Let's go to the text line, 590-590, name and location. That's the people's text line. I'll go to the phones very shortly, but I wanted to read a couple of texts here. Jeremy in the Beaches. I think what Jeremy says here, I think, is something a lot of fans will agree with. That was the best game of the season, but I really hope it's not the last one. The last best game of the season, of course, right? I think there was a stat I saw on Twitter from our pal, Blake Murphy, and Blake posted this, maybe half an hour ago. Jays got 20 men on base for the first time this year. They did it 13 times last season, and the first time it came was on May 11th, a little over a month into 2024's season. They were one of only 7 teams who had yet to do that before today. I don't know who the other 6 teams are, but the Blue Jays shared a lot in common offensively with some of the worst teams in baseball. So to see them break that and no longer share that can only be viewed as a good thing. That is absolutely great. Rosalie in Avenue Road, she texted to say, nice to see the hitters bail out their pitchers. It's very true. I feel like over the course of Gausman's Blue Jays career, and he didn't really have it today, it's unfortunate, made a couple mistakes. I thought the command was okay here and there, but by and large, the four-seam fastball seemed to be where he I was going to say live or died, was not so much the former, more so the latter of living and dying. But a lot of hits off the four-seamer, a lot of strikeouts off the four-seamer, so I guess you can say live or die. But he just didn't really seem to entirely have it today. Only ended up going, 3 innings, so not so great from Gausman, but it's true. In his whole Blue Jays career, he just has not often gotten the run support. So nice to see the Blue Jays offense take him off the hook, because I'll tell you, I'm sure most people, after they went down 7-1, probably turned the radio off or turned the TV off. And honestly, based on what we've seen for most of the year, for basically the entire year, I don't really blame anyone for doing that. But it was an electric win. Mike in Port Hope, he texts in to say, Amen show, couldn't say it better myself. This is what this team is capable of. They're slowly coming back around. Keep the faith, Jays fans. Terrific comeback. I see one here from Rod out west. Rod's in Vancouver. And Rod says, can you imagine if the Jays baseballed like this most of the time they baseball? That would be nice. He also says, Schneider's ascent has been so much fun to watch. I'd love to see him get more time leading off to get some more data. Didn't work yesterday, but wow. Today was unreal. I think that's totally fair, right? I mean, you talk about the leadoff spot, and I mentioned we saw Springer today, but it was kind of a straight swap towards the end of the game, right? He works the walk, and then after the inning is over, they put him in right, they put Kiermaier in center, and they put Varsho in left, and they take David Schneider out of the game, which I don't really think it's a slight on David Schneider defensively. And we did see him have a little bit of a snafu early in this game, but he's been great, I think, in very, to Rod's point, very small sample sizes, right? And I think that's why a lot of the kerfuffle with Springer is valid, right? Like, you don't want to see him like if he's going to not play well, you don't necessarily want to see him be exposed to more ABs when you could, in theory, get better ABs, which I think we have seen by and large in David Schneider's career, albeit a short career. We only really saw him less than a year ago. If you really think about it, he started his career in August 2023 in Boston at Fenway. So I think you want to see more, right? But you specifically, to Rod's point, want to see him more in the leadoff spot, and I think he's got to stay up there for now. And I know the main reason he's there is because Springer's on 100%. So I wouldn't be all that surprised. I know you guys would not be either, to see Springer just jump right back in there once he's healthy. But I don't know. There's probably a sunk cost fallacy going on there when it comes to Springer too, right? Like, he's largely only been a leadoff hitter for the vast majority of his career. Outside of a few one-offs here or there, he's being paid an absolute ton of money. And I can hear you guys like, it shouldn't matter. And I agree with you. But as long as he is unable to go, David Schneider has got to be the guy up there. And I think the other half of it is we saw the power today. He plugged his 4th home run of the season, and you'll take it because he has that power. And I mean, maybe part of it just might be because he's younger. But the other half of that conversation, of course, is like, who else are you putting up there? If it's not Springer, right? If it's not Springer and you're saying, okay, we want to see someone other than David Schneider, like, who is it really going to be? IKF, like Biggio, Clement? I suppose you could bat Vladdy lead off. I feel like the ideal scenario would be if Bo was hitting very well. In theory, you could bat Bo lead off and bat Vladdy second, for example, but that's not the case right now. But again, you hope things are getting a little better for Dalton Varsho. Hey, keep the text coming, 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text line, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Let's go to the phones. Chris from Maine joining us here on Jays Talk. Chris, what's on your mind?
Hey, Show. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. What's up?
Because today was a fantastic game. I'm really happy for the guys. I hope that this level of play can be contagious because I think that will do wonders for them. Sure. I'm also really happy for myself and for the rest of the fans because today was the most entertaining game so far of the whole season. And, Toronto has a fantastic fan base, and we needed this really badly. I think, we needed something to be to cheer for and to give us some hope. The reason I'm calling is, it's kind of a weird place to call on a day where they won so well, but I've been reading and seeing a lot of flack about the coaching staff of the Jays, primarily the hitting coaches, including Don Mattingly. And I think this is out of place. I pray to the throne of Kevin Barker, and I take a lot of his words to heart. And one of the things he's always said was, even throughout his career when he had Rod Carew as hitting coach, Rod Carew couldn't save him. Rod Carew can't even teach anybody to be Rod Carew. These guys are major leaguers. When they come to the show, they got to be for the most part ready to go. Coaches can help tweak these guys. But Don Mattingly cannot take Varsho and teach him how to be Don Mattingly. All he can do is try to make a better Varsho. These guys have to do it themselves. Winning obviously will help them become better players because that is just you can't attest for that kind of a feeling and what that does for your playing ability. But when it comes to changing your stance a little bit or how you're acting,
oh, maybe we lost Chris.
Be saved.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Did you lose me? Yeah. Anyways, I'll sum it up. Coaches can't save the player. The player has to save the player. And I think that they get a bad rap, the coaching staff. I know Don Mattingly gets a lot of flack. He was a great player. He might not be the best coach. Sometimes that happens. As they say, those who can, those who can't teach. But if I had a hunch to what is a problem with this organization, I think there's too much white noise in the clubhouse. I think there's too many things buzzing around in there. I think you got maybe too many coaches, maybe way too many khakis, too many people running around with iPads. I think the players, when they're in a slump, don't get a chance to just try to figure things out themselves. I think there's somebody always buzzing in their ear saying, try this, try that. Eventually a player has to hone down on something and work through it themselves, or they'll never solve the problem.
Hey, Chris, thanks for the call, man. Thanks for joining me here on Jays Talk. Appreciate you sticking with me here. Okay, so a lot there. I think, so on the hitting coaches aspect, I feel criticism is valid when you keep doing the same thing over and over again and there are no results, right? I think like the vitriol of like they need to, I'll drive them to the airport myself, like sometimes can be a little uncalled for. So I do think that's fair from Chris, but at the same time, I also think if you're going to make a big deal of, and I'm going to use Don Mattingly as an example, okay? If you're going to make a big deal of going out and hiring like the great hitting coach Don Mattingly, and I know he was a manager in other places like in Miami and in Los Angeles and so on, but if you're going to like make such a big deal about hiring this guy and then say, oh, we're actually giving him a never before heard term in baseball at the very least, the offensive coordinator, and then for it to not pay any dividends, I personally feel like it's valid to criticize that. Obviously, on a day you win with 10 runs and you get 16 hits, you're gonna not criticize the hitting coach too much. I will say, I think I heard earlier today, like when I was walking around downstairs in the clubhouse, and you could hear John Schneider speaks. The way it works is he speaks to the writers. It's on the record, but it's not recorded. It's not like you can't watch the meeting. And then he has kind of like an abbreviated version of the pregame with Hazel or Arden or someone on TV, and they ask him a couple more questions like that goes on television. And you often hear what he has to say. It's kind of like a little more intimate, right? You can ask him more questions, and it's easier to hear him in his office and so on. So I was walking by, and Eric was there too, Chris and so on. The guys were all there, and we're hearing him talk about it. And I think I heard him say, there's the bug going around in the clubhouse, and that's why Springer didn't start today. He talked about it actually with Blair and Barker, I think on yesterday when he came on their show, and a bug's been going around. So while Springer is out, even he has it a little bit. And I think I heard that Guillermo Martinez was not here today, which I got to say, that made me chuckle, if only because as soon as Eric said that on the air, I thought, boy, people are going to be like, well, see, it was all Guillermo. It's because he wasn't here. He wasn't talking to people. Obviously, that's not how it works. But when it comes to criticism of the hitting coaches, when the offense is this poor for so long, I think you can, maybe point the fingers is too much, but, they probably wear it a little bit at the very least, especially like the guys who are paid to be hitting coaches and then they're not hitting. It is funny, though. I mean, the Jays scored 10 runs today with 16 hits. They have literally gone whole weeks without scoring 10 runs and 16 hits total, like in the span of like 5 to 7 games from like Monday to Sunday, essentially. So I am very pleased that whatever they told them today worked, because the Twins have been one of the hottest teams in baseball in the last, month or so. To Chris's other point about people buzzing in their ear, I do genuinely wonder if that is a problem. And it's not like it's Ross Atkins specifically, or it's one of Mattingly or Haig or Martinez or Edwin or Victor Martinez if he's around. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe that is a problem. But I also kind of wonder with Vladdy is, and this goes back to him changing things so much. Sometimes I actually wonder, people say, oh, Vladdy is too stubborn. I actually kind of wonder if it's the opposite. If maybe Vladdy is so amenable and such a jovial guy that he's actually taking too much from other people and not just doing the thing that made him really successful in the first place. Honestly, that's pure speculation. But I genuinely wonder, maybe they could benefit from less cooks in the kitchen, but I digress. Let's go back to the phones. Eddie joining us from Fort Erie. Eddie, what's on your mind?
Not much, Joe. How you doing today?
Good, man. Always good when you can be down here at the Rogers Center for a win instead of a loss.
Oh, yeah, for sure. By the way, do you like taking the trip down memory lane from time to time?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Well, you know what? That's exactly what it was in this game today, because oddly enough, Gausman pitched that game last year when they were losing, and they came back, and And today he pitched today. He got lit up, and they came back and win the game. I mean, it's amazing how it can happen, again. You know what I mean? It was one of those weird things that I was thinking in my head. And you know what, too? This game had everything, as you said, like Schneider, atoning for that miscue in left field. He hits a home run, and good for him that he did, because if he didn't have a good day at the plate, I mean, it would have gone from bad to worse for him. I know short sample, but you know what I mean. But you know what I mean from that. And the other is the bullpen. I mean, now you think about it from Kikuchi, that length he went 8 innings and only got one reliever up, that really helped a great deal today because,
sure.
And especially Swanson, too, having, I guess you can say a redeeming outing, if you will, in the 7th inning. And Vladdy, of course, as you said, I mean, he's hitting everything right now. And I got to give big props to Varsho, too, for those 2 at-bats. I mean, Vladdy lined out, but he had to face 2 lefties, and he got on base on both of them. So props to Varsho as well. So that's why I look at this game as a great team win. And another one of those games where I'll put in the filing cabinet drawer, and I'll pull it out. And if they make the playoffs, I'll say to myself, that's one of the games right there that could decide their season. When you look back as a turning point, that and the game after in Philadelphia when they had that team meeting, and they won.
It's true, Eddie. Hey, thanks for the call, man. Thanks for joining me on J-Stock as always. Let's talk about Eddie's first point about the bullpen, because we haven't really talked about the bullpen so far. And certainly, Yusei Kikuchi's probably sitting in that dugout being like, God, where was any of this yesterday? Where was all of my run support? I felt bad for the guy, honestly. 8 innings from Kikuchi and they lose, and then you get 3 innings from Gausman and they win? I mean, that's baseball, Susan, right? That's what that is. Anyways, let's talk about the bullpen. Because, like Eddie said, they were pressed into action far earlier than they usually are. And, I mean, I mentioned Zach Pop off the top. I like kind of pseudo-include Zach Pop because, again, I know he gave the home run, but I kind of thought to myself, after Gausman came out so early, how are they going to get innings from a bullpen that has been so shorthanded and beleaguered? I mean, John Schneider had said in that writers' meeting I mentioned, he had said that someone not named Jimmy Garcia or Jordan Romano, and he named those guys, have got to step up. And I don't think he was saying it to throw anyone under the bus, right? But more to just underscore the point, a very valid one, that most guys in the bullpen, outside of those 2 he named, have just not played all that well. And again, I kind of roll my eyes like Jim Carrey, here we go, right? That's kind of what I thought when I saw Zach Pop give up the home run. But he settled down right away. And then Trevor Richards, okay, everyone after that, because the home run from Jeffers off of Pop made it 8-3, and then the Twins did not score again. So everyone after that played amazingly well. But Trevor Richards, 2 perfect innings in the 5th and 6th to ensure that the score got no further. And I think one of the most important things, and it was good that he was able to not expend his pitch count too much, because one of the most important things for Richards is that he might be, right this second, I'm just looking at the names on the bullpen right now, right? It's Meza, Cabrera, Pearson, Pop, Richards, Romano, Swanson, Garcia. There is no true long man on this team. And traditionally, when your starter gets blasted and gets yanked early, you go to a long man. And Pop is not a long man. Trevor Richards is like sort of a long man. We've seen him go 2 innings, and that's exactly how many innings he played today. I honestly, when Eric Swanson came out in the 7th inning, I was sitting here with Chris LaRue, and I thought to myself, and I looked over to him, I'm like, what do you think? And he looked at me and said, gosh, he was not super confident. And I'll tell you the truth, I wasn't either, if only because he's had a really rough start to the season, and you needed him to hold things as much as humanly possible. He made me sweat a little, but he, to his credit, much like Richards, did not drive up that pinch count. He got in and out of that inning very quickly, and I sincerely hope it's something you can build on with him, because you need him to get out there and, just like John Schneider said, give the Jays more options in the bullpen. We got to see Jimmy Garcia for the first time since, April 28th, right? He never went on the IL with the back tightness issue, and I was admittedly a little worried about how he'd look after such a long layoff. But Jimmy Garcia comes in after Swanson, and he dominates 8-9-1, right? And again, it's at the bottom of the lineup. So, you probably expect it to a certain extent. But again, after the long layoff, I kind of thought to myself, would he be able to dominate to the way he's been doing essentially all year? But he did exactly what Swanson did, and he was able to use a lot of his off-speed stuff. He dialed up the fastball when he really needed to. I kind of wondered if he was being cautious out of he wasn't using it out of an abundance of caution because of the injury. But hey, 96 miles an hour, especially against Edward Julian, that'll play. And good to see Jimmy still able to dispose of the batters when he needed to. And look, I'm generally open to the idea of throwing out Jimmy Garcia for 4 outs, but after the iffy back, out for a couple weeks, I'm not even sure you want to be that risky, and even in high leverage where you want him. But Jordan Romano, I mean, it will be a little slider happy, as we know. He threw a slider down 2-0 in the count to Ryan Jeffers. And then, this is the same guy we just talked about, hit a home run off of Pop. So you think to yourself, how many sliders can you get away with throwing to Jeffers? He threw 5 sliders in a row. and he just couldn't help himself but to keep swinging. Romano was confident. He turned up the velo to 99 miles an hour on Max Kepler, and then threw Kepler another slider, which he hit to get on base, right? So he almost banged that for a home run, actually. It was like maybe feet from being a home run off of the wall out there in right field, but there's a fine line when we discuss Jordan Romano between what his pitch mix is and certainly what is, let's say, enough sliders and too many sliders, and he probably walked that line like a razor-thin line today. But, hey, they got it done. 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. Those are the numbers to call. We're here until the top of the hour. We'll go back to the phones, back to the text line on the other side of the break. You're listening to Jay's Talk. Show Alley with you on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which Looney Dogger are you? The fork and knifer, splatterer, condiment queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world your Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's, every Tuesday home game.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Don't pay for 12 months on the Timber Mart deferred payment